Hey everybody, ReefGrrl here, and welcome to ReefGrrl Live. I am so happy you could make it. The whole idea here is to have some fun, chat, get some questions answered, maybe show off what you're doing, and get to know each other a little bit better. So sit back, relax, grab a drink. The stream is about to begin. Hi everyone, nice to see you here. I see we have lots of comments already, and there are 14 people officially watching, so welcome to ReefGrrl Live Saturday night. And to those of you who are watching a replay, welcome to you too. Stick around, there's usually some interesting stuff that goes on through the night. Okay, let me get to the chat. Don't have anybody in the studio waiting room yet. WVU Reefer was first. Hello from Best Virginia. Hello to you too. Tony Close, UK Reef. Hey, how are you doing? His feet are on the sofa looking forward to the live stream. That's awesome. Click Clacks Reef, what's up to you too? Waleed Reef, hello. You guys are chatting with each other, I noticed, as I was getting everything all set up, ready to go. Let's see what else is going on. I don't want to miss anybody who's might be asking a question or talking about buying stuff. JMZ MRZ. Oh, he has a question about RODI reading. We will put that up in a moment. Hi, JMZ MRZ. Jim's Misters. Mermaids Reef. Hello. Hi, Benny Fernandez. And there's Calipso's Reefs. Hello, Hector. Insane Reefers here tonight. Hi, Oscar. And T40. Nice to see you, T. Glad you're staying safe. Who else is here? Full day of live streams for me. Yeah, good for you. I had a full day of emptying out fish cabinets and trying to figure out what to do with stuff. Who else is here? Straight Reefer. Hello, Straight Reefer. And there's Braveheart Reefer 525. He and Tony Close are here with us tonight from the UK. Fellow Reefer is here. Hi, Fellow Reefer. I think we've been chatting in the comments in the last little while. There's ChaseV. Hello, ChaseV. Oh, I missed a couple people. Lynn Reef Nerd. Hi, Lynn. Glad to see you. Useless Reefers here. Hey, Useless. You, I think you often join us later on in the evening, so nice to see you here early. That's wonderful. ChaseV. Hey, Chase. And Reef Keeper. Nice intro, ReefGrrl. Getting fancy. Nice to see you, Phil. Yes, I thought if I'm going to hold this live stream, I'm going to do my best to make it as sort of, I don't know, professional as I can. And I really liked the opportunity to create these little intro and outro clips. So the outro is always different, by the way, and it kind of pertains to current events in my tanks. So I try to get little clips of things that are going on right now and turn that into the 30-second outro. So if you do stay right to the end, or you are looking at the replay, check it out. That's one of the ways to get a sneak peek with what's going on. Reef Keeper T40 Insane. Chad Kurtz. Hello, Chad Kurtz. This keeps jumping up. I don't want to miss anybody. Hi, Chi-Town Reefer. Haven't seen you in a bit. Nice to see you tonight. There's Mo Reefs. Awesome to have you here. Waleed Reef says, it is 5 a.m. here in Dubai. Wow, that's pretty early to be up. I'm not a morning person, so that's glad you could join us. Kimberly Workman, hello from North Carolina. Hi, Kimberly. Falcon Quick is here. Hello, Falcon Quick. We also have Anonymous Aquarist. Nice to see you here. A little bit of a reef is here. My goodness, lots of people here right from the start. That's great. There's Mr. DKH. Hi, Mr. DKH. Glad to see you here at the beginning when we're doing the greetings in the chat. Often I see you pop in when we're in the middle of a conversation, and I keep watching and I keep thinking, I gotta say hi. So welcome. Sean's Fish Tanks. Hello, Sean. Nice. Oh, T40, let's put them thumbs up. Yep, if you could, that would be awesome. I am never going to hold you to ransom to get thumbs up, but I really do appreciate it. Whoa, awesome. Oh, Insane Reefer won a $100 BRS gift card in one of the live streams today. Great, good for you. There's Camaro Kid. Hello, Camaro Kid. And Johnny Martinez. Checking in, looking for another awesome show. Oh, I hope so. I hope I will have someone come and join me in the studio. Otherwise, you'll be listening to me tell you all about the fish list I'm trying to put together for my 300 and all the weird stuff I found when I emptied out the fish cabinets yesterday and today. Yeah, stuff that is difficult to put in boxes. Let's put it that way. But you still have to make sure it survives the trip. Who else is coming here? Fellow Reefer Insane. I think that's everybody I've said hi to. Let's go back up because there was this question about RODI readings. JMZ, MRZ. My RODI reading 001. Can he throw that water in his tank because his aquarium store is closed? Can't go get water. I would. We checked ours today and it was 007, which means it's time to change the resin. And it wasn't due yet, but with all of the new building going on in our town, the water supply has been up and down and all over the place. And incoming from the tap was 650. So, yeah, I would think 001 is fine, unless you are having severe problems with algae and things like that, and 001 might make a difference, but I personally wouldn't worry about that, especially if you need water and you can't get any right now. Oh, here's some more information. Yeah, I'd be quite happy with that, actually, if that was mine. Tony says his fish shop is still open. He bought water today because he doesn't have an RODI unit. Yeah, Tony, if you have a TDS tester or, yeah, I guess a TDS tester, you can get handheld types or you can get the little inline ones that have the probes. I think it's always a good idea to monitor the quality of RODI water that you get from other sources than your own system. Sometimes the TDS can creep in those systems. They don't always change the filters as often as we might at home. Not saying that's the case with your particular fish shop, but it never hurts to have a TDS meter on hand if that's the situation you're in where you're purchasing your RODI water from another source. Just, if it was me, that's what I'd be doing. What else have we got here? Can't believe it has snowed the last 2 days in May. Yes, and if you're in West Virginia, you're a lot farther south than we are. We had snow today, and there's supposed to be more tomorrow. I am not looking forward to that. Let's see, what else? Do we have any more questions? Somebody said they were getting a tank. Who was that? I saw it as I went by. Ah, Mermaid's Reef. New tank should be here next week. Oh, that's exciting. That is really exciting. I don't know what you're expecting. I haven't been following what's going on with you, so maybe you can let us know what you're expecting to get. Or if anybody wants a link, the email's at the bottom of the screen. Let me just quickly check. Oh, there we go. Yep, I do have a request. And Chase, I think you should have got an email from me tonight with the link. So if you want to check your email, if you didn't get it, then let me know and I'll send it out again. I can't remember. I think we may have had a problem last time. Let me just see if I can send you a very quick email. Sorry, everybody. Don't like to leave you with dead air. Let's see if that was the last thing I copied. No, I'll have to get that link. Okay, Chase, it's going to come from my personal email, so watch for that. My other one would have come from the ReefGrrl email. And I don't see you in the studio here, so I will send that out to you right now. Okay, that has been sent. I have to wait till the big white screen goes away. There we go. Okay, so that's been sent, and hopefully you'll get that. Kimberly Workman's also in North Carolina. Okay, Calipso. Mermaid's Reef. Happy Mother's Day to me. Yes, me too. I do have a daughter. I now have a grandson, and she's going to be celebrating her first Mother's Day tomorrow, so that's wonderful. You need to take back the polar vortex. It's May and shouldn't be February here. Yeah, it's very true. Oh, and Chase just popped in. So I'm just going to take a second and go through the comments and see what else is here that I might have missed. Yeah, great advice. It sucks to spend the money, but just buy your own if you're serious. I didn't have one for the first 6 years. I didn't have my own. And I started out using tap water because I was told it was fine. Then I switched to distilled water, which wasn't much better. And I got given an Aquatic Life RODI buddy, or RO buddy. And I added the DI unit for a birthday, and I never looked back. And now I would never ever even set up a tank without having an RODI, because even if you don't have a place you can leave it hooked up, you can get the fittings and put it in place, run it, and take it and put it away again. Because I know a lot of people don't have the right kind of space to be able to hook it up and leave it that way. Ooh, fellow reefers getting an upgrade from 46 to 180. That's right, we were talking about that today. That's a pretty awesome upgrade. All right, let me bring Chase in, and then I'll take a look at some of the questions here. And, oh, hey, Chase.
What's up, guys?
How are you?
Doing well. Sorry, I'm just going to get a glass of water.
Yep. There's a question from Chad Kurtz, and if you haven't seen it in the chat already, maybe you could help him. Would adding a pink spotted Luther goby to my Reefer 650 that already has a yellow Watchman goby in it be a bad idea? I haven't heard of a Luther goby before.
Likewise, neither have I.
Oh, and I'll tell you, when I'm not sure about a fish, my go-to is Live Aquaria, because they have a lot of fish listed. Even if they don't always have them in stock, they still have the information about compatibility and things to watch for, and what any particular requirements and care level and all that kind of stuff. So I've not heard of a Luther goby, so I would suggest check Live Aquaria and see what they say about it. They will usually say whether there are other fish of a similar type that should be avoided. So yeah, I don't know, Watchman goby as well. I know they can be territorial. I don't know how aggressive they are. Oh, hey, Little Ocean. Waleed Reef has a question about flourish nitrogen for nitrate dosing. Copper and urea. I wouldn't use it if it has any copper. Seachem Flourish, I had always understood it to be for freshwater planted tanks. Because nitrogen is not the same as nitrate, as far as I understand it. Yeah, I would avoid anything that has any level of copper in it. I don't believe it would be intended for marine use. Seachem might make another product. I haven't looked into it, but it might make a product that is intended for marine use to dose nitrate. Are you in a situation where your phosphates are too high that you can't perhaps feed your tank more to bump up the nitrate? You could take your skimmer offline for a little bit to allow the nitrate to rise. Um, if you have filter socks, maybe leave them in an extra day, or filter pads. Leave them in a little longer before changing them, and then just monitor the nutrient levels and make sure they're not getting out of hand. Because sometimes your options for increasing nitrate are affected by your levels of phosphate. If they're too high, you have to be careful about adding more nutrients generally to the tank. So I don't know, Waleed Reef, if you can add a little more detail to the chat, maybe we can help you out with that. So Chase, let me put you full screen.
Yeah, Cindy.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
So are you between moves right now, or what are you doing?
We are still getting our house ready to list it. And our new house won't be ready till November 4th. So we have lots of time.
Okay.
So we just have to watch the market, because the last thing we want to do is put our house for sale when nobody can buy it because nobody's getting a mortgage. So with COVID winding down a little bit where we are, we're quite optimistic. And the town we live in is one of those little town tourist hotspots that everybody thinks they should live in. So the real estate here has been very, very good. It hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. And so we're getting the house ready. We're hoping to have it ready to interview real estate agents probably by the end of May. I still have to empty out my fish room before we even want to do that. So getting very close to being able to remove large pieces of rock and move them to the other tank. So we'll see.
Sorry, let me turn this off for a second. I'm trying to prep the room for better, give you guys a little better view of things. The reason I ask you is because I'm like stressed about your tank move, because having an own tank move of mine coming up in like 6 months, I know like the emotional weight of that, and so I'm just curious where you're at in it.
Yeah. I just keep telling myself I did it once, I can do it again. I did it 8 times. This 90 that's getting ready to receive my reef is the 8th tank I've started from nothing. So
wow.
I just have to tell myself I've done it so many times. I've learned something every time, and I expect I'll have some losses, and I hope the losses are not fish, because the corals I feel more confident that I can rescue corals than I can fish.
Yeah.
So
it's so tough because you have the fish for so long, and you want them to be healthy and do well. And I have a couple of tangs that I probably shouldn't have put together that they got HLLE.
Oh no.
And I mean, they're both still alive and they've kind of chilled out at this point, but they've got some pretty serious damage to them. I just feel bad for them. I wish I would have known better, but I still want to take care of them best I can. And I'm thinking about when I do the tank transfer, I might move the yellow tank to the 90-gallon refugium area. I don't know, just to separate them.
I think it helps to have other water volumes or other places that are safe to sort of for transition to move them. The biggest problem I'm going to run into, I think, is my fish all have their territories. I'm going to be breaking up their territories. So when I remove the whole left side, that's where the rabbit fish spends the fox face. He sleeps there at night. So I'm going to have to try it. I'm going to have to try and get him when I get that out and move him over with it. But I really don't know how that's going to work. Yeah.
Well, anyway, just otherwise doing well. Got some always stuff going on with the tank, of course. Sorry, I'm grabbing some frozen food right now.
Oh, a couple
Just
more
let me
people
know if the audio is bothering people or you.
Yep, no, it's fine. I'll just say hi to a few more people who popped in the chat. GTA 5 Vids, hello. And there's Kimber Reefs. Hi, Kim. Nice to see you too. And DLM has a question. Every time I buy a torch, it dies. Everything checks out in my tank. Can anyone tell me why? Yeah, I'm not a euphilia expert. I'm often mystified why some do really well and others just don't. Or they do very well for a very long time and then something happens and they just wither away. I suspect some of it might be injury, and whether the injury is from fish swimming into them and knocking them around if they're brawling, which mine do. I have a couple of large fish who kind of interact with each other and end up closing up my green torch periodically, or if it's even just injury from brushing it with your hand when you're doing something, or from flow. If it gets too much flow, that also can injure the tissue, and it seems to me that once the tissue suffers an injury, it's very difficult to bring it back unless you're prepared to remove it, dip it in iodine, clean off the necrotic tissue, and then put it back, or have somewhere else you can keep it, a frag tank, or even on a frag rack while it recovers. That's really all I can relate as far as my own experience. Hopefully somebody in chat will be able to give you some better advice than that.
Yeah, I share a similar experience to that. Some have just been bomb proof for me, and others have just had issues. I don't know if it's brown jelly or what the deal with that is, or I wish I had better information on that as well. But the other hard part about euphilia is they're expensive,
These days, oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sean's fish tank suggests try keeping them towards the bottom of the tank with low flow. I certainly think that's a good way to start and see how they sort of progress. You'll be able to tell just by looking at them whether they're happy in the flow, whether it's enough, because their tentacles should never really just kind of hang there. They should always be moving in some flow. It's just that they shouldn't, I don't believe, be ripped around or really, really strained until they're used to it. Some of them can certainly be acclimatized to that over time. I mean, check out Reef Keeper's tank if you want to see crazy torches with long tentacles really, really going nuts in the flow. That's a really good example of what they can do. Hey, Chimp the Reefer. Oh dear. Here's another question. How to frag an Australian elegance coral? I have no idea. And I'm sure it can be done somehow. I have a feeling it's one of those things where experience matters. You have to know where to cut, and you have to be ready to have with an antiseptic like iodine or something, just in case there's any bacteria brought in on your tools or from the rock, because they're one of those large polyp corals that I know they do develop additional. They don't just have one mouth; they have multiple mouths. But that's something I've never ever even tried or considered trying.
Yep. Same here. I have no advice to offer on that one either.
Johnny Martinez, Chase, he's saying, beautiful tank, how many gallons? Also, can you show your sump?
I sure can. So we're not liking the face. Got that. This is the 125 display here. Let me turn it sideways. So that's there. That's the recent. We talked about this like 3 weeks ago. Cindy, remember the kind of Jimmy rigged plumbing through the stand here to connect the two systems. So the frag tank, they were separate, and then I connected them. The sump runs both tanks. It's there's a lot going on. I understand that, and I just added this UV, 40-watt UV, about 3 days ago. Nice. And I've really liked it. The only problem is this fitting that they sent that's pre-glued has a tiny little leak in it. So I have this doggy pad thing because I still want to run it, and it's a pretty minor leak. And I got in contact with the company. They're going to send me out a new fitting. So,
right.
It's the only part that like you don't tighten or do mess with yourself, and it had a little leak in it. But
of course.
So these are the drains into the sump. The one on the far right is the frag tank. The one on the far left is the main display, and they share a common secondary drain in the center between the two tanks. And then there's an emergency drain back that goes over into this area here. And I actually don't have an emergency drain on the display tank right now, so it's just running 2 full siphons. Dual reactor, protein skimmer, and then the refugium's plumbed in on this side. It's either a 75 or a 90. I can't remember. I got it secondhand, so.
Looks like a 75. I think 90s are tall.
Yeah, this is like the 2 foot. I think the 24-inch 18 by 4 foot.
Oh, then maybe it is a 90. That would make sense. Mine is 18 by 24 by 48. Yeah. Yep, so probably a 90.
And the frag tank is over here. It's doing good. I've been trading some frags lately, and I got like a nuisance bacteria. I'm thinking it's probably dinos. That's the reason I got the UV.
Oh no.
And so and it was weird because, like I said, the whole water volume's connected, but I traded the frags and I put them in here. I think it was this Monty on the end that he gave me, and I can't remember else. Maybe one of these little bird's nests down there or something. But like 12 hours later, there was just like a film over the whole frag tank.
Oh,
and,
no.
So, I know it happens or whatever, but it was weird because the whole water volume's connected, and I haven't seen any in the display tank whatsoever. But it's just been kind of, so I upped the flow in the frag tank, and I got the UV, and actually I'm really surprised how effective it's been over such a short period of time.
They work really fast. It's hard to get people to believe that. Mine worked overnight to totally clear the haze off of the water that had been there for months.
Oh yeah, the water was clear. Sorry, it's not a little cleaner in here, guys. The water was clear within 24 hours. And then, with those dinos, I was in here every few hours. They're still, you can still kind of see them around, probably not with the video quality. Sorry, I'm messing with the filter. With the dinos, I was in here every hour and a half, 2 hours, just cleaning everything off because everything was closed up and smothered. And the gorgonians especially, they get a really thick layer on them.
Oh, yeah.
But I was in there, 4, 5, 6 times a day. And since I put the UV on, I go in there once in the morning, just make sure everything's clean. And, it's been really great.
Nice. Johnny Martinez says, awesome engineering. Thanks for sharing. I love that.
I think when people first saw it last time, it was more of a, it's crazy, but it works kind of thing. But,
Yeah, it takes, it's one of those hobbies where if you do a small amount of tinkering and don't go overboard, it's the best way to learn how your particular tank will adapt to things.
Yeah. I'll put this down. I'm going to do a little frozen feeding here.
Yeah. We have a question from Waleed Reef. What is the phosphate and nitrate levels?
In my tank?
Yes.
Well, nitrate. So there's some changes on that front recently. So just, I can give the value straight up, but let me give a little context so, you know, you can understand it a little bit. My phosphate right now, I measured yesterday with the HANA checker, was 0.1. And my nitrates with the ELOS nitrate kit were at 1. Now, if you back up a little bit, they've traditionally, the phosphates do kind of vary for my tank depending on, you know, how often I'm feeding or if I'm using a lot of like Coral Booster or something. And they're actually a little higher than I'd like them right now. And then the nitrates have usually always been 0. I recently started, because I freed up one of my old dosing pumps, I recently started a little trace dosing. I think we talked about it a little bit last time. Yep. So I've got potassium nitrate there on the left, strontium, and then a kind of some of the more smaller quantity ones mixed together in it's one of Brightwell's, like Replenish or something like that.
Oh, Restore?
Let me see. I should have I didn't throw the container away. Yeah, here it is.
Oh, they do have a product called Replenish. Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't have like the major other bottles they sell, like, because they sell like a full bottle for strontium and potassium and some of the ones people dose more regularly. But this one has, like, you know, manganese and cobalt and you know, all those. And then I diluted all the bottles down because the bottles are 250 cc's. I diluted them to 1500 cc's. And then the potassium nitrate, I used a calculator online that's commonly used for freshwaters on the forums because they dose that a lot for freshwater.
So potassium nitrate, that's used to elevate your nitrate levels?
Yes. It's,
because Waleed Reef was asking about whether Seachem Flourish Nitrogen would be an appropriate product to use, given that it contains 1 part per million copper and urea. And I had thought that
gut reaction,
particular product would be
that
for fresh water.
Yeah, don't use that on salt water.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that either. I haven't researched the product, so maybe
No, me neither. Just the presence of copper alone would be enough to make me really want to be careful.
Yeah, so the common nitrate supplements you get are potassium nitrate, sodium nitrate, or I can't remember. There's one more that's commonly done. But potassium nitrate was the one that I kind of saw most frequently. Maybe it's potassium. You can also use potassium mononitrate, maybe, or something like that. But you know, so I'm just trying to raise my nitrates up to just a little bit more level, trying to get things in balance. I'm hoping to keep my phosphates in balance a little better with that. And because right now I know you probably can't see it from the camera, but I do have quite a bit of algae and hair algae and stuff on little in the low flow areas and stuff on the back. I usually like my phosphates at like 0.03, 0.04.
So it was potassium nitrate, a formula that you found to make your own, that you're using to dose nitrates?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. No, so there's products online you can get. There's pharmaceutical grade potassium nitrate you can get on like Amazon. I chose to go with an aquarium labeled brand that does also for freshwater, but it is just the same pure potassium nitrate. But I just figured since they're selling it for aquariums, you know, they might be a little safer or something. I don't know. It's probably just psychological.
Okay,
but
well I think that's
It,
probably a really good lead for Wally Reef to check into that.
yeah, it was $4.50, and you can make several gallons with that amount to dose your tank for a very long time. So it's
Wow,
cheap.
good. Hello, Eggboy64. And Tina's Reef. Tina had her surgery and she's basically resting. Oh, that's awesome to hear, Tina.
Bottoms up.
Yep, there goes the food. Russell Muldowney, nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you in here before. He said UV
Oh,
wiped out my dyno almost immediately. That's good to hear.
I forgot all my pumps were off, so it's gonna hang out over
Tony
here.
Clo- Tony Close has a question for you, Chase, about whether you'll leave your UV on all the time or only when you need it.
I'm going to leave it on 24/7 for now, but not for long. Um, I'll probably either run it on like a short schedule, or just turn it on, for a few days periodically, if it seems like things are getting weird.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've
I
heard it's
run.
bad to run it 24/7.
Yeah, I don't know. I run mine 24/7 and I haven't seen any adverse effects. And
Oh, really?
people always, yeah, well, I did this video that my main aim was to talk about UV, talk about how to set it up for varying levels of sterilization and the myths that are associated with it. And a big one that came up was that the UV would strip bacteria out of the water, the beneficial bacteria, but the beneficial bacteria lives on surfaces, and if it's in the water, it's surplus to requirements, and it's making your water cloudy, and you don't necessarily want it in your water column. So I know there's a lot of discussion, debate. People don't feel right about running it all the time. So I'd be really interested to see what your experience is with intermittent running. How it,
Yeah.
like,
Well, it'll be
whether it
running
does what
until
you
I'm
need it.
satisfied. Yeah, it'll be running for now until I'm satisfied with that all the film's gone and maybe some of the algae is less invasive. But I mean, in that same breath, they tell you don't run your carbon and GFO 24/7, and I do that, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I've used GFO sparingly occasionally. It never worked for me, probably because I didn't use it right. And I do use carbon. I always have carbon on hand in case I'm doing a lot of fragging or something happens in the tank that I need to put carbon in to absorb it or any of that stuff. But I don't run carbon all the time. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I change them out fairly frequently just because the GFO, um, I find that you have to manage the phosphates or to keep them at a good level, you have to kind of keep it on schedule as well.
Yeah.
So I have the dual reactor. I just do the carbon too.
Yeah.
The GFO is a little messy, like particle wise.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. It's kind of a pain to deal with. And honestly, the Elimifos Rapid, that stuff, um, I can't say enough good about it. And I know people are often concerned about the lanthanum residue, but I don't think it's only made of lanthanum chloride. There's got to be other ingredients in there, and because it's formulated as an aquarium product, as opposed to just buying lanthanum chloride from somewhere and then trying to figure out how to dose it. Um, I know if I put 2 milliliters in my tank, it will drop the phosphates by 0.019. So if my phosphates start creeping up, I figure out how many days I need to do this, and I dose 2 milliliters at a time on a daily basis until I get the phosphate back down where it needs to be. And I've been doing this for almost a year now, and I am like super, super happy with how it works. So it's one of those
That's
things,
attractive.
you find out what works for you, and I still think it has a lot to do with the particular balance of everything that's going on in your individual system. So,
Do you have to run the filter
it's
sock thing with that, or do you just put it in and let it do its thing?
when I first used it, I just put it in the sump right into the Kato. But now I pull out my little filter tray. I use the Red Sea Media cups, and I have Pinky filter curled up in a coil in there, and I just put the pipette down inside the Pinky filter and deploy the Illimifos, and I feel confident I'm not going to end up with problems with residue. Plus, it's only
Nice.
2 milliliters at a time, right? It's not like
Yeah.
I'm dumping half a cup in.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah,
Ro-
I've been considering going to some kind of liquid eliminator. I've just had GFO for so long. It's like it's hard to
Yeah,
change sometimes.
you have to wean your tank off of that. You can't just stop using it. My understanding, it's one of those products that you have to be careful
Mm.
and gradually remove it. Roman's Reef says tank looks good. And I forget, is it bare bottom?
No, there's some sand down there.
Some sand.
Yeah, it's just hard to tell with the gel filter, I think.
Oh, hey, Sharbuckles Reef. Nice to see you. And Anonymous Aquarist runs his 24/7.
Ugh. See what we got.
Russell Muldowney doses lanthanum chloride through his ATO when he needs it. That's interesting. I wasn't aware you could mix it with fresh water that way. Then I wonder what you do. For example, my ATO container holds 7 gallons, and if I had to put some, let's say, Illimifos Rapid in there, I wonder what I would do if I didn't need it anymore and I still had it in my ATO water. How you would
Right.
cut back on the dose unless you swapped out an entire container's worth. Interesting.
Yeah, it's like you said, Cindy. Kind of, if you get your tank settled into a system like that, it can work for you. But it's about being able to set that up and get your tank used to it.
Yeah. Well, what appealed to me about it was the fact that I could do the math and I could go, okay, if my phosphate is 0.18, let's say 0.189, and I want to get it down to 0.00 or 0.08, then that's essentially 1.09. It has to go down or something. I'm just doing the math in my head. It's probably wrong.
Right.
But I can divide that by 0.019 and figure out how many days I have to dose it. As soon as I learned I could do that, and whatever my regular nutrient levels are, my number of fish hasn't changed, I have a regular schedule for feeding, that's coral food and fish food. So everything being equal, I knew exactly how many days I would have to dose the stuff to get my phosphate where I wanted it. And that really appealed to me as opposed to getting a half a cup of something and putting it in a bag and or in a reactor and hoping that it would work. And the stuff works.
Yeah, being
for
able
me.
to calculate it versus shooting in the dark is.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only sensible thing if you say it out loud, right?
DLM says, ReefGrrl and everyone, I'll try to get a new torch, lower the flow, and put it at the bottom. Thank you for answering my question. Good luck with that. I hope that does well for you. And I was also going to talk about turbid water because I did see someone mention that torches like detritus. And when I was doing some research, I learned that a lot of them are gathered from the mouths of deltas and areas with a lot of sediment and turbulent water. So the water often has detritus and just gunk in it. So I started stirring up my sand about twice a week with my turkey baster and just pushing water through it and getting the water really, really cloudy and then just letting my filter pads drain it out and all of that. And I feel like that really helps the torch as well. The 2 torches that I have is having that turbid water, whatever is in it, they were always happy looking when that's going on. I would usually do it just before lights out because of course you don't want to impede the transmission of light right in the middle of the day. I guess you could, it might not matter if it's only a couple times a week, but you might want to try that too. Just stir things up so that you have cloudy water for a short period of time and I don't know, see if that helps. Maybe they're maybe they're looking for food, because I know they're not really the type of euphilia that will take food like hammers. Hammers and torches don't seem to want to eat stuff. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if that helps, but good luck with that. Russell Muldowney. I just figure out what my total dose is and dump it in the ATO. It'll get to the tank when it gets to the tank. That's awesome. So Chase, you've been
Yeah.
feeding your fish. Did you put everything in there already and now they're chowing down?
Yeah. You see that damage on that sail fin there?
I noticed that when he was there before. What happened?
That's the guy, him and the yellow tang never got along.
Oh.
Yeah. So they had HLLE real bad and they were fighting, and they haven't fought probably in about 6 months. They've both been in here almost 2 years. And so they were just fighting constantly, and their fins are beat up. They got the scarring on their face. I just feel awful for them. But up until the last month, I don't have any options for changing their situation. I just probably shouldn't have put them together.
Yeah, that's good for me to hear because sail fins are one of my favorites. The Desjardins.
Yeah. Yeah, they're beautiful fish, and I just feel so bad for my guy. But lesson learned.
Yeah, you do what you can.
So yeah, I'll be separating. I'll put the yellow probably in that 75 refugium.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I guess too, it'll give them an opportunity maybe to heal up and gain some strength.
Yeah, and I've also changed their diet recently too, just to see if, because they haven't fought for so long. I was like, oh, they should be healing up by now, but they just haven't really recovered very much. So I started using a lot more frozen products, and just switching it up a bunch and kind of seeing how they're going to do, adding some like Celcon and stuff like that. So
yeah, I swear by Celcon.
How do you dose yours, or how do you just soak your food? How, like, drop wise?
I get my frozen food ready. I only feed my fish once a day. Once in a while, I will put a clip with nori, or I'll drop in some algae pellets because I do have a couple of big herbivores. But I get the frozen food. It is the equivalent of less than a cube of mysis spirulina enriched brine, and I usually choose something like calanus or oyster eggs or something like that, and get a small piece. I add some flakes of algae flakes and some brine shrimp flakes, not very much, but a little bit. And in that mix, I put 5 or 6 drops of Celcon. And then I top it up with tank water and let it sit for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then by the time it's all thawed and I'm ready, then the water's, it's milky because of the Celcon. It's quite concentrated. It really is. And then I just feed it with a small baster. That usually takes maybe 4 or 5 times to distribute it all, and I wait about 5 minutes between each shot because I want them all to chase it around, and I don't want it all to get away from them and end up stuck in the rocks, because it's not a lot of food. So I try to make sure they all have a chance to get it, and it works out well.
Yeah, it's a good way to keep your nutrients under control without overdoing it, but not getting a nice thorough feed.
Yeah, I have to keep the nutrients under control. I've never had a low nutrient system, and I
wanted to comment on not your system, but I think kind of the nitrate discussion from that guy's question earlier, when he was asking about dosing the C-Chem nitrate. And I had a comment about just keeping those two in balance. And I think I don't know if you could bring this question back up, but I think it was rooted in the that he had low nitrates and high phosphates. Was that his issue?
That's what I was asking, what the levels were of phosphate, because your level of phosphate does affect your options for increasing nitrate. You can't just. Here
Right.
was his original question. Do you recommend Seachem Flourish Nitrogen for nitrate dosing?
Oh,
It's the only
okay.
one he
So he
has in
didn't
his area.
mention the phosphates. It was your follow up.
No, it was me, because without knowing what the phosphates are, you can't really discuss what the options are for increasing nitrate. Because I mean, normally you would just say feed more, but you can't just go ahead and feed more unless phosphate is under control.
There you go. That was. Thank you for saying that. That was the thought I was having earlier was the problem. Yeah, the problem with feeding more is I feel like it contributes more to your phosphate.
Yeah,
Or at least it does in my tank. I guess tanks that have difficulty with nitrate might not have as a robust a nitrate removal or something like that, and then they just see. I'm only seeing the phosphates because I'm removing nitrates, maybe. But in my experience, adding more food, I always see my phosphates really skyrocket. So that's kind of why I went to that alternative of trying out the potassium nitrate. But I'm pretty closely following the nitrates, and I'm also measuring the potassium,
yeah.
which I've seen gone up since I've started dosing that. So
Yeah, and potassium is one of those that has to stay in a very tight range.
yeah, so I don't want to overdo it just for the sake of my nitrates. I don't want to like overdose potassium,
Yeah. Yeah, GTA5 Vids had a question about dealing with GHA. Hope it will go away. What color does the algae turn when it's going to die off? I've never really had it. Any
I
advice?
have. Green hair algae, for me, I see it has variable strength more than variable color for me in my tank. Like when my phosphates get up like to 0.12, 0.15, I can get more of the green hair algae coming up, and it's when I go to siphon it, the siphon's much less efficient. But when I drive my phosphates down, I notice that it gets very weak, and I'm pulling like the whole chunk right off the rock when I pass it with a siphon. And so that's been my experience with it, is just managing that phosphate and then kind of weakening it to pull it off. But
And Anonymous Acarus was asking what you said the fish came down with, HLLE, right? Was that right?
that's my theory. I have no way of proving that.
And that's head and lateral line erosion.
Correct, yeah. And it's not well defined in terms of its causes. From what just the research I've done, can be variable. Stress, poor diet is implicated. They say one thing that I read was like if you run your carbon in like a bag and particles are getting in the water, that can irritate them and cause it.
Yeah.
So I read several different things, but I can see the erosion on their face, and with the sail fin, he literally has a lateral line of erosion running down his body on one side. It's light, and you probably won't notice it in the video, but I mean, there's erosion on the face, and there's a lateral line eroding. I just assume, but I could be wrong. It could be some other bacteria or some stress thing. I don't know.
Yeah. And I had always understood it did have a lot to do with diet, so who knows, maybe with beefing up their diet, it might slowly get better.
Yeah, and I did not initially, like the first probably 6 months when I first started this tank, I did not feed nori very regularly at all to this tank, and now I feed it like every other day, so I don't know. But I heard it can be really tough for them to recover in terms of like their tissue looking healthier from some of these things. They just get some permanent scarring sometimes.
Yeah, and we don't appreciate the types of stresses they encounter in our tanks because we don't see them 24/7. And
Yeah.
a lot of times the interaction that we see is during feeding and it all looks fine, but you just don't know what's going on behind the rocks. And I think stress is a huge, huge factor in a lot of these fish diseases.
Yeah. And I also feel now in hindsight that this tank is not appropriately sized for, especially the sailfin. He was small when I got him, and he grew to the size he is now so fast. And I feel like if I
Yeah,
put him in a bigger tank, he would just like level up again.
yeah,
He's just a little. He shouldn't be in this 125, in my opinion, especially not with the three other. There's a yellow tang, a Tomini, which the Tomini is a model citizen, and then there's a foxface in here too. So
hmm
there's quite a few large fish that, you know, when I
yeah.
upgraded to the 125, I was like, great, it's huge. I can put bigger fish in. And then like I put 5 big fish in, and they're like, okay, you got a little ahead of yourself there.
Yeah. Benny Fernandez, speaking of fish, he said his sailfin tang and yellow tang are beating up his new fox face. What should I do? I don't know. A lot of it depends on how long you've had your fox face, and secondly, oh, your fox face can defend itself with his spines. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, I've had 2 experiences with fox faces and these tangs. So right now, he's pretty shy. Let me see if I can find him. Oh, there's my engineer Gobi. I love that guy. He's like an eel.
yeah, I'm seriously thinking of getting a pair of those when I get the big tank. And someone was asking, Tony Close, I think, said he thought he spotted a wrasse and wondered what kind it was.
There's a yellow chorus there.
He's reflecting off the brilliant orange from the coral.
Yeah, that Monty. Yeah, that gel filter really does that Monty. So good.
Oh yeah, cool.
So that's him. I have a really cool leopard wrasse in here. He might already be in the sand. He he goes down pretty early. I don't see him.
They are gorgeous. Which type is he?
Um, if you list some types, I might be able to tell you. But
Oh, well, as far as I know, there's blue star. There's black. Um, those are the only two I know because I've looked into them myself, and I don't want to get any fish that I don't think my skills are up to keeping. So
yeah,
that's why I've kind of backed off from that.
yeah. You got to quarantine the wrasses. I found that out. Um, you have to leave them in quarantine for a while and just kind of let them do their thing and make sure they're eating a lot and they get a little fat. Um, I've just lost some. I've lost another leopard wrasse because I put him in Gen Pop and he couldn't hang.
Oh yeah.
So
Waleed is back with some information. His phosphate is 0.27 parts per million with the Hanna checker. That's a little high, I would say.
yeah,
And nitrate is 2 parts per million Salifert. So looking at that, I would want to focus on getting the phosphate down. I mean, I know there's a balance between the two.
right. It's at that level. It's just. I think the corals are fine with it, but there's a lot of other stuff that are really fine with it too. So you got to be careful. He was just interested in getting his nitrates up, or did he have the algae issue as well?
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't mention algae.
Hmm.
But he does
Yeah, I
say
mean,
that green hair algae can be eaten by a sea hare, so maybe he has had experience with it.
yeah, amen to that. If you can get a sea hare, it's just, I mean, it is eventually gonna not survive. They don't have a lot of longevity, but the time they do spend in the tank is just insane. I had a 55
Yeah.
gallon, and it was just covered. I put them in, and like a week later, it was bone white. It
Wow.
was incredible. And then I put him in this 125 and never saw him again. I don't know what happened.
Huh. Hey, Dramedy, welcome. Yeah, Benny said he just got his fox face today, and the two tangs he's had for a while, and he sees now that it's defending itself. Yeah, Benny, I had the same experience with mine. My guy was quite little when I got him, and of course the green wrasse takes a run at anything it doesn't like. The Genicanthus angels are fine. The hawkfish is fine. The Tomini tang spent a little bit of time chasing the fox face, but not much. And now they all swim together. And, you know, Chase, it's interesting you mentioned about your fish seeming to be too big for the tank, and I'm starting to feel like that with mine. I thought that the two Genicanthus angels and the green wrasse and the fox face and the Tomini tang would just be a good size for the space I have available, but more and more as I look at them, I just feel like they don't have enough room to move around.
Yeah, I really like the idea of your new tank because you're going to get so much width out of it, and I feel like my tank's really starving for that, and so I'm going to follow your suit with you on that one on my next tank.
Yeah, it's a shape that I wasn't planning on, but I wanted the volume and I had no space for a 7 or 8 foot tank, so I came out the other way. Yeah. So with a 48 by 72, that should give me a really nice footprint to work with, I hope.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah, I hope so. Oh, hey, Blue Carbon Reefing, welcome.
So to get back to the fox face, I kind of got off track there again, looking for that fox face. And he came on screen a little second ago. I don't know if you saw that, but he's down in that. Anyway, you know, I would recommend a few things. One is what I'm going to do in my next tank is I'm definitely going to get an acclimation box of some type. I'm probably going to have it made because I want it to be a decent size so I can leave them in there for a while. But I would highly recommend that if you have any kind of small acclimation box or anything you can use. And then mirrors are really good for diverting aggression in fish. So setting up mirrors where the fish get confused by their own reflection has been successful for me. With a flame angel that was really bad, that kind of cured that for him. And but anyway, and then because those guys are probably fighting because they all want the same food. So you can try separating 2 pieces of nori on 2 separate feeding clips across the tank and just kind of give them different territories, or just feed a little bit more. But then you got to watch your phosphates again. So
I did the 2 clip thing with in my tank because the female clownfish Cher cannot stand that thing anywhere near her territory, and she runs at it and tries to rip it off the glass.
Clownfish are the worst.
The clownfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do is put 2 in, one right by her territory and the other in the middle of the front. And at least the fox face and the Tomini tang get to have a couple of bites before she comes running. And she goes back and forth, back and forth. She doesn't know what to do. It's hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benny just got his fox face today, so it's early days. Mine sorted itself out within a day or 2.
Yeah, and the first I had a magnificent fox face, which is a beautiful fish. I really loved it. Mm-hmm. And it was very, very skittish in terms of its own self-defense with its barbs in here. It would just tend to run away. And I actually, unfortunately, I think because of the aggression, it jumped, and I found it one day. So that was that one. And then I replaced it with the more traditional yellow fox face. Yeah. And that one, it just stands up for itself. Like a fish comes over it, it literally just sits there and puts its barbs up, and it's you know. But the first couple days might be a little choppy, but so.
Yeah, that's what mine did, and I did I did a video, and it's called Fish Behavior Risks and Rewards. And it was about getting Ziggy, my fox face. He's a one spot. And of course, it's Siganus unimaculatus, so that's why I called him Ziggy. And I love that fish. He is absolutely a great citizen in the tank. He's not aggressive. He's a very, very good, energetic eater. And his barbs go up periodically when the green wrasse gets too close to him, but
Yep.
he really doesn't cause any trouble at all. Oh, hey, JV Gwaltney. Nice to see you.
Yeah,
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say mine's highly defensive, but not highly aggressive at all towards other fish.
Right. Tony Close says that foxface is on his list. He has heard that they bother coral. And it's interesting you should say that because I think it was Fish of Hex was talking about foxface. If you get a really small one, they learn good habits as they grow up in your tank. And if you keep them well fed, it never occurs to them to go after coral. But if you get an older one that's bigger, you don't know where it's been and what it's been up to. And it's quite possible it has already learned how to eat coral. So I only have the one experience with the single fish that I have, but I would say he was probably maybe not quite 3 inches when I got him. And now he's about 5.5. And I've never seen him go after anything other than the food that I put in the tank, and he's always picking at the rocks and the power head cords and things like that anywhere there are algae tufts. So my experience with it has been very good.
Yeah, I've heard acans and zoos. I have a ton of acans and zoos. I've only had one acan. I mentioned it last time, that purple one.
Yep.
That's the only acan that I've ever had an issue with since I've been able to keep them. I couldn't keep them in my old 55 for some reason. I don't know if maybe a fish in there liked them, but yeah, they say with the fox faces, acans and some of your LPS and zoos can be bothered, but that hasn't been my experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only coral in my tank that right now is looking a little bit unhappy is my green Goniopora, the daylily type that has the really, really long tentacles on the polyps. And it has started closing up a little bit, and it kind of looks bald in one spot. So it kind of does make me wonder if one of the fish is either bumping into it, or maybe the Midas blenny, when he comes out of his barnacle, is brushing against it, because they really don't like to be touched.
Yeah. It's hard to know sometimes, what's causing problems for your corals.
Yeah.
But
hey, Robert Poorman, nice to see you. And Ugly Man's Reefing is here. Hello. Robert Poorman has a question about dosing no-pox. Any advice or observations? Have you ever used no-pox, Chase?
I have advice and observations I'm willing to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I actually threw it away. It was an old bottle, but I wasn't going to reuse it because my nitrates have been so low, and I'm dosing nitrates. So I kind of go along with the same. No-pox is like a carbon dosing source.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what's in it specifically, but sorry about that. Just dropped the phone, kind of. I don't know exactly what's in it. But it's probably some type of vinegar, sugar, or alcohol base. That's the carbon source, and then you dose that to your tank. And what it does is it feeds beneficial bacteria that then consume your nitrates and phosphates, and then that's how you drive those nutrients down. That's kind of the idea behind it. My observation and what I kind of believe and what I've heard anecdotally from other reefers is that those sources of carbon dosing, while they do feed that bacteria very effectively, they feed a lot of other bacteria very effectively too. And so what you end up doing, if you're not very careful, or if you don't have a very regimented thing, or your tanks, if there's kind of anything out of balance with it, or maybe just by using it, you feed a lot of these opportunistic bacteria, and you end up with different films and different things in your tank that you didn't necessarily want. And yeah, you might be achieving your primary goal, but you get these secondary side effects that are just kind of almost worse. And I just don't feel like it's the best option if you're trying to get the nutrients down.
Mm-hmm. My big thing about NOPOX is I understand you're not supposed to use a phosphate control mechanism while you're using NOPOX, because it interferes with what's going on with the phosphate control via the NOPOX. And yes, carbon dosing essentially is what it is. And before I ever started using it, I did a lot of reading to understand the mechanism of how it worked, and the way you explained it is perfect. And those other bacteria, because people tend to think if a little is good, more is better, and it's so not true. And that's what happens. If you overdose it slightly, you end up with problems. And you also have to wean your tank off of it, because if you just remove it, then you have bacterial die-off, and that's a whole other different problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say read and know what you're doing, and understand, even if you don't know the exact ingredients, understand the mechanism of how it's working, so that you can decide whether that is the route you should take to control the nitrate and phosphate.
Yeah.
And I've always had the best success with nitrate and phosphate by treating them separately, as opposed to finding one thing that will handle both, because it's such a fine balance, and so little can throw it right off to where you have a problem.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the skimmer and the refugium really pull nitrate, and then I feel like phosphate is a lot more dependent on what you're putting into the tank.
I agree. Yeah.
But anyway.
And it's funny, when you were talking about that earlier, I was thinking the difference is phosphate is the result of additives. Nitrate is the result of processing of additives incompletely. So if you can get efficient and active processing of the additives of the fish waste and the extra food and everything, you won't have a nitrate problem. If you can reduce the additional additives, the phosphate, you won't have a phosphate problem. So again, it's another one of those balances.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then ultimately, if you have a phosphate problem and you can't reduce your feeding, or you're unwilling to, or you don't want to increase water changes or whatever, then it becomes a matter of binding it and getting it out of the water column, so that it can't impact nutrient issues with algae, or retard the development of the coral zooxanthellae and things like that. Like it's pretty complex, but on a basic level, again, it's the whole balance thing, right? It's
and it's a moving target. I'm always working on both of those, nitrates, phosphates, just as much as alkalinity, or So.
Yep. We got a question about whether anybody has a good 20K actinic program to share for an AI prime. He deleted his light schedule by accident. Drama D. Oh boy. I have an AI Prime, and I don't I don't really have a specific program for it. I just kept messing around with it until it looked nice when I was taking video. That was on Mollywood. I have a single AI Prime.
Oh,
So maybe somebody in the chat might be able to help you with that.
I was going to show you guys my other tank, but I shortened the light schedule. I forgot, and the AI Prime's already off. I always like kind of like a coral pop type schedule. So you start with a slow ramp over a good amount of time, and then get to your peak intensity. But I don't like to hold the peak intensity for too long during the day, because then again you get other opportunistic things really growing. So I like to hit a peak intensity, for 4 to 6 hours, start ramping down for a few, and then you kind of hit that low plateau where you get that coral pop at the end of the day. I like going with something like that personally, but.
Oh, hey, Acro Breeder. Nice to see you. And Alex Reyes just bought No Pox and a new eShops protein skimmer, 20-gallon Nuvo. Will this control my nitrates and phosphates? I like to feed heavily. LOL. I don't know. I guess it depends on what your bioload is overall, what your levels are now. I mean, if you just bought No Pox, presumably you're a little concerned about what your nitrate and phosphate is.
Yeah, I mean, both of those things are going to help you keep nitrates down. Nitrates and phosphates down. It's just about finding that balance and doing it correctly with those devices. So, research into them. Start slow with the No Pox if you want to use that, and keep up with your testing for sure.
And fellow reefer said Chase said something about how to control green hair algae. Did he say to keep the phosphate low to not get green hair algae? Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that, but I think it does follow that lower phosphates don't allow too much algae growth, I think.
Yeah. Algae grows with these phosphate. And so I use this GFO, and there's this BRS reactor. That's how I do my phosphates. ReefGrrl was saying that she uses Limiphos, which is a more calculated way to do it, and I kind of want to move towards that direction. But you have to keep your phosphates low, but you don't want to get them so low, because the corals need the phosphates to grow as well. So
yeah, I think that part of the issue is when you go looking for information, a lot of what's out there is still from the ultra low nutrient system days, where people were aiming to get phosphates down to nothing, or 0.01 or 0.02. And the wisdom now is that a more effective target is 0.07 to 0.1. And when I first started with the Limiphos, I was aiming for around 0.07. I did get them down to 0.03, but that's not where I wanted them, so I backed off a little bit. And these days, they regularly are somewhere around 0.1. So they're not down at 0.07, 0.08. But if they creep up above 0.1, that's when I dose the Limiphos. And that's why I love it, because I can respond that way. So as far as phosphate levels, if your phosphate levels are at around 0.1, I personally think that the current wisdom is that that's just fine.
Yeah.
And whereas it always used to be, oh no, it's got to be as low as possible, and so you strip it all out and then you add it all back in. And I understand how that gives you control, but we were talking about that balance of, if something goes wrong, it's a very, very fine line that you walk when you're adding back in And all it takes is you forgot you dosed and you dose again. That's
Yeah.
happened to me.
And it's
Oh,
hard with
there's AL. Sorry.
it's hard with new tanks too, because sometimes those values are all over the place depending on, and small volume at 20 Nuvo.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, that's why when you start those tanks, people recommend that you start slow with your livestock so you can kind of manage the algae, and maybe not put a lot of high demand corals in for the first even 6 months, so that if you need to shorten your light cycle or take more drastic measures to manage things, you won't be risking stuff that you've invested your money and time in. So if you want to, I would give that advice if you want to use no pox in a new tank. Don't stock it full of a bunch of livestock, hoping that no pox will keep things down. Start with a little bit of livestock and use the no pox in a small amount to see if it does what you want it to, and then kind of progress from there.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing to remember is the old wisdom of, um, well, I'm going back to freshwater days, but don't add 6 fish all at once into your new tank. Add 3 and then 3 so that the bioload can develop to keep up, or the biological filtration can develop to keep up with it. So it's similar. If you throw in a whole bunch of stuff that you have to feed, your bacterial level isn't going to be enough to process that waste. And so hence the idea of using something like no pox, which is bacteria food, as you were saying earlier. So this is just my opinion and my experience. It's much better to start slow, as you said, and allow your natural filtration to build up. As you see things are stable, then you can add more. That's the hardest thing to do, because you just want to add everything you see, everything you've ever wanted, and it's where the patience in this hobby comes in.
Yeah, I say all those things having done all the opposite of all those things already in my reefing career.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah. Calipso has a question. He's switched from Fosguard Pura Foslock. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Can that have an effect on alk? His alkalinity dropped 10. Does that mean 0.1? I've never heard
maybe
of that
0.1.
product. Yeah, that's what
well,
Dromedy's asking.
I'd say if it was a 0.1 drop, that would be something you wouldn't be able to see, because that would just be a testing. A 0.1 could just be a test error. So if it was a 10-point drop, that would be catastrophic. And I would, again, check your testing equipment. But yeah, I haven't heard of those products.
No, a 10-point drop when your alk is normally around 8.2 would put it into the negative, so he must mean 0.1.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Robert Poorman is asking, can we get a coral tour? Oh man, I wish I could give you a coral tour. The picture behind me is out of my tank. It's the left-hand side.
Coral tour.
Yeah, you can do a coral tour.
No, I'm cheering
stream.
you on. Coral tour.
Yeah. Okay, what have we got? This is my black torch with pink tips and a green mouth. Then Citrus rhodactis, utter chaos. Going up here, we've got orange rainbow palithoa. There's the Duncan. The orange is an acan. Over here's the green. Wait a minute. Green goniopora. And
nice.
That's my button scolie. You see if I can reveal. Oh, I haven't got my green screen right. Oh no. There, maybe you can see better now. Oh, that didn't really do it. Then there's the Party Crasher Cyphastria. I love that thing.
I've never had a Cyphastria for some reason.
Is that right? Oh, they're great.
I don't know why.
The colors that they have, and they grow so well.
Yeah.
They can just take over a rock in a good way. I mean, They're not particularly aggressive. I'm just looking to see if I have a good
Yeah,
picture
they're
of
beautiful encrusters. I mean, they're like basically like bite or tricolor Montes, you know, with
Yeah.
more texture.
Well, this one here was supposed to be Looney Tunes, and it has a dark green skin with bright orange polyps. And I've got my Cinerina
Oh, that's awesome.
there. One.
How big
Platygyra
is
is a
that thing
green.
in real life, the Cinerina?
Um, it's probably about 8 inches across when it's fully open. And
Oh,
I
so
have,
that's about the size in the video. It's about as big as your head.
yep, I have two of them. It's true. Wait a second. Can you see the other one? What's going on here? I have the
Yeah.
two of them. The other one's beside it. It's behind me. I can't see it, but
Yeah,
they completely fill that rock arch. And I can hardly wait to get
it's
them in a
beautiful
tank where
coral.
they can actually spread out. Yeah. Alex Reyes. I have SPS and LPS, great growth, no problems. Don't have a phosphate test kit or nitrate. Had tank over 2 years, everything's okay, but all of a sudden the GHA outcompetes the Cato. So this is the 20 Nouveau, I think. This is the gentleman with the 20 Nouveau. Let me just check. 20 gallon, so it's 2 years old. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. 2 years
Never
old.
tested.
Phosphate or nitrate. So, I mean, one of my gut questions is at the end it says, but all of a sudden my green hair algae outcompetes my Chato. So the all of a sudden, my question is there anything you've done all of a sudden or changed? Like for instance, started dosing something or started a new food or something like that, that you can kind of tack together as like a pattern there. And
Or
then,
has something died
yeah,
that, like if you have like my hamster-sized turbo snails, one of those died and shot my nitrate up to 25
yeah.
from
Or
one
did you
week
add
to the
some
next.
fish? Did you,
Yeah.
if nothing's changed whatsoever, I would recommend getting probably a nitrate and phosphate test. And then, you probably haven't changed your light schedule on your Chato, but
I guess it depends what type of lighting that you have too. Because if it's T5s, maybe the bulbs need changing
yeah,
because that spectrum changes as well.
yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe it's all those new acros. Oh, Calipso says it went from 8.4 to 7.4. Drama D says maybe it's all those new acros sucking up all that alk. Dose more daily or increase that calc. Hector, like, is it possible it's a testing error? Did you confirm it with another test or cross-reference it somehow? Because that seems like a big drop, and I guess it depends what the time period is too, whether it's one day to the next. I can't remember if you test ALK every day. I know some people do. Oh, it was in Frankenstein. Can't keep up. Gonna add the doser because I can keep up. Yep. Manual removal time. Sean's fish tanks. Alex Reyes says he had a mini crash in January, but the algae is getting worse. Lost 2 huge colonies. Has a Kessel A360. Yeah, so it's not T5 spectrum.
I mean, sounds like if he had a crash, he could be having some parameter swings. I mean, it's hard, just regular water changes and testing just to kind of see where your problem is.
Yeah, and Robert Porman points out it's true. Cato needs iron, and
yeah, that had crossed my mind.
I don't know if there's a hobbyist type test for iron. I don't know if that's one of the ones that Salifert makes or that you can get.
I don't know. I know on my last ICP I did like 18 months ago, I had really high iron. So I stopped dosing that one of there go the lights. But
Yeah, Red Sea Trace C is iron. And I had the same thing with an ICP. It came back with real high iron. So I'm pretty careful with the iron, and any of the trace elements that are in a color program like that. It seems like whatever is supposed to work for the greens is the one that has the iron. Yeah, a couple people are suggesting ICP tests for Alex Reyes. Oh, I see. Yep, WV Reefer says Salifert has an iron test. That's interesting.
yeah,
Ooh.
but it might be like you said last time we talked, Cindy. Those trace element tests are, you know, the margin of error on them is I guess margin of error is wide on them.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
Well, I don't think if you get an unusual result that you weren't expecting, I don't think you can ever just rely on that one test to confirm. I think you always have to test again using something different, or, you know, perhaps you didn't realize that, well, okay, here's something that I did. I was doing a calcium test with the Hannah, and I have 2 syringes. And I employ the syringe method of filling my little cuvettes that I believe it was Pat Murphy said he learned it from somebody else. And I love it because you can measure 10 milliliters of your water and put that into the little cuvette, and you don't have to worry about where it hits the little line on the bottle because they're all different. And plus they rub off after a while. So now when I do my testing, I measure the amount, and it's always 10 milliliters, so that from one to the next, it's always going to be consistent. So when I was doing my calcium test, yes, I love it. I think it's absolutely the best way to have consistent measurement.
Yep.
So the calcium requires 9 milliliters of DI water from, I use the Hannah stuff. So I have a separate syringe that I always use for the DI, and I had it drawn up, ready to go, and I had just done a test for probably phosphate, so I had that syringe, and by mistake I picked up that syringe and used it to draw up the DI water. So the thing about those syringes is they have a large end on them that probably holds almost a milliliter of water, not quite. So the syringe I used had a milliliter of salt water in it, and I used that to draw up my DI. And of course the calcium level was 583.
Wow.
And when I looked at it, I went, oh, I'm such a dumb, I knew right away I knew what I had done. But if I hadn't been thinking about it or didn't realize it, I would have suspected that I had 583, and I would have gone and changed my dosing levels and all of that. So I think if you get results you're not expecting or are suddenly different, you always have to confirm them in some way, just to be sure. I often do use my Salifert alkalinity test if it looks like my alk has dropped too much, especially when doing a lot of fragging, and it goes down drastically when not expected. So yeah, it's you just never know. Oh, there's Hector, and Sean apparently has just set up his 25-gallon Nouveau Lagoon wall mounted, and someone is saying, come on Sean, jump in, let's see it.
Yeah, let's see it.
Oh, next week. His daughter's trying to go to sleep. All right, Hector. What's going on, Hector?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? Hi, Cindy. Can you hear me?
Hey, Hector. I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can't?
Yeah, I can hear you, Cindy. I can hear you, Chase, but I can hear her.
Yeah, I hear both
You
you guys.
you might have to go out. You might have to
I'm
go
gonna
out
get
and
out
then
and come back
come
in.
back. Try that. Yeah, that happens. It's apparently a bug
Huh.
in the streaming service, and actually this time I have to remember when this is over to report it. Um, because I do watch their town hall meetings every week where they talk about what's new and what's going on, and they did mention there had been a bug with that. All right, let's try this again.
It's annoying.
Now I can hear
Hey,
you.
Hector. Oh, good.
Yep, there he
Yes.
is.
Awesome.
Yep,
Awesome.
I can hear you now.
So you staying safe?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
a lot
never
of
even
things going
asked
on
you,
around.
Chase. Yeah, no kidding. Chase, where are you located?
I'm in the States, New Mexico.
New Mexico? Okay.
Yeah.
So your your area I don't think has been hit extremely hard with this COVID stuff, has it?
Actually, it has.
Oh.
The Navajo Nation is kind of in the Four Corners area down here with Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico, and yeah, it's been really tough for them out there, but the metro areas have been pretty good, but they've had some rough times out there, so.
And
Yeah.
are you able to keep working, or are you in a job that you can?
Yeah, I'm working. I'm a nurse, so I'm
Oh
working.
my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Wow.
Wow. So Hector,
Yes,
you're having a
ma'am.
thing. You're having a thing going on with
Oh,
the
yeah.
alkalinity.
Yes,
Let's,
yes.
let's
It happened
pop.
first to the twin tanks, and then it happened to the frac tank. But the frac, I brought it up on the twin cities, but the frac tank seems to be consuming all that out too fast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. I brought it up in 2 day period, just dropped down again to 7. 7.1 was today.
Hmm.
Yeah. And because of you, Chase, look what I got. Right there.
Oh yeah, nice,
I got it.
man.
I
Wow.
saw it on the last live streams. I gotta get that.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you need it. That your tank is just beautiful, dude.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta get one of those Orphet lens because this one, it's not working no more.
Wait, so walk me through the alkalinity problem again.
So I was using Fosgar,
Okay.
and I changed to let me grab that other bottle. I know it's the only one my LFS had, so I want to purchase that one because I didn't want to work with the Fosgar no more. So I went and grabbed this one right here.
Okay.
I have never seen that before. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of big granules, not that small. So, and I didn't put much. All I put like kind of like those what is it? Those little bags of carbon. That much, not much, and
Yeah.
it just dropped. Next day I check it, it would just drop. I checked the Twin Cities, it dropped too. So I said, hold on, what's going on here? So I don't know, but this one I brought it up, and it haven't go down. With the frac tank, nothing's going up, and I dose 20 mils for alk to see if it goes up. It went up like 2. That's it, and it went back down.
It's not your test kit, is it?
No, I mean I'm using the Hannah checker of alk.
Both tanks.
Yep. And I got the same readings in this one twice. I tested it twice, and both times gave me the same reading.
So you're using that Foslock product on just the frag tank or on both?
On
tanks?
both tanks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, on both. Yeah, everything I do to this one, I do it to the frag tank too.
And so your frag tank was hanging out after you dosed that FOS product. It was hanging out at around 7, and then you buffered it back up to around 9.
8.4.
8.4, and then the following day it was back down to 7.
2 days later, it went down back to 7. Yeah.
And did you just dose that FOS vine product one time, or is it something that stays in the tank? Or
Yeah, it stays in the tank in a little bag.
okay,
But this tank also have it, and it haven't dropped. So
right.
I don't know. I really don't know. Can pinpoint what's going on over there. I'm gonna do a water change, just to try to bring it up a little more.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up on Reef Central. There's something about Pura Fosguard and dropping pH.
pH? Look at that.
So Pura Fosguard then had issues with pH dropping and hard to keep up.
Yeah, I try.
Huh.
When I tested the first time that I did that, I test early in the morning, so I said that was probably why. But then I waited throughout the whole day, and then I tested at night, and it was still the same thing. So I guess I got to change back to Foscar. I guess so.
Because isn't there... gosh, I'm just trying to think like about oxygenation issues and those products dropping your pH. But if it's only happening in your one tank,
yeah, it's in this one.
I don't know, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you know how I've talked about all of a sudden it's like a switch has flipped and things start to take off? That's what happened in my tank and caught me off guard. Like maybe this stuff is really starting to grow.
Maybe, right?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. If your frags are,
I mean, I am seeing a difference on the Montes right here. Like the body's getting thicker.
Yeah.
That I'm seeing, yeah.
Oh, so if it's sucking up alk, Montes do use a lot of alk, and the skeletons on mine are really, really thick.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
probably why. And then I gotta up my dose.
Yeah, if you just up your dose and it's not topping out or anything.
Huh, interesting.
I've had a tough experience combining my 2 large systems together and just trying to keep that alk stable. Combining 2 dosers into one, and it's just, it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
Well, I had fun with the 90 that's supposed to be getting my reef. I'm working on getting the parameters stable and alk up around 8, which is where I like to keep it under normal circumstances. And so I set up the Camor doser, and that was on Friday, and I was there on Monday to test, and the alk had gone from 6.4 down to 5.1 again.
Wow.
So I immediately changed the programming to increase the dose, and then I thought, I'm just going to look at it, and I thought I'd put some in manually just to give it a bit of a boost, because obviously it hadn't been enough. So I'm looking at the tubes, and there's no liquid in the tubes.
Oh.
So I think what happened was when I pushed the hose in, because it's long, I think it curled up and came out of the solution. So it drew in what was in the hose itself, and a good thing it's extra long because obviously it did still get some. But they were completely empty and dry. So I had to reprime it and get everything all set up again. So I want to get over there maybe on Monday again. So it'll have been a week since I tested and see whether it's working. And I've had my daughter check to make sure that there's still a little drop of liquid at the end of the tube to make sure that it's running, or that it's not dried out. So we'll see. I mean, I can't start moving my reef until I get that tank to at least 8 on a steady basis. So that's kind of what's holding me back right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Hector, how much alk do you usually add now, and what do you
I
use to
usually use
dose?
just cold water. That's it.
Oh,
That's how
kalkwasser. Okay.
yeah, that's how I usually keep it stable.
Hey, did you check
Nice.
your calcium?
Yes.
And how is
Is it?
it?
It's 350. It dropped two.
So it's low. It's low too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be consumption.
No.
When I first put up my frag tank, I didn't even have much the big one. I didn't have much stuff in there, but its consumption it was really like kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So it might just be the adjustment. So I don't know that much about your system, although
Yeah.
they all look great.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
And look at the acros. They're growing.
There you go, man.
They're growing.
Look at you growing SPS under a
Uh-oh.
Pixie 30.
No. I got to take that one back. The pixies are in the fractal now. I got the
Oh,
primes
yeah,
over here.
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I had to
All
switch
right.
it up for the part. I needed more part.
Yep. But
Yeah.
still, under a single prime. That's awesome.
Yeah. They're growing. They're cross to the plug. They're getting bigger. I'm
Nice.
happy. Finally.
It's always a good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Woody Suiso.
And I gotta remove the yellow tang out of here. I have to. That's why I'm setting the 40. Still a baby, but he's getting big for this tank.
Yeah. Is that the fish you got when it was the size of a quarter?
Mm-hmm.
The same one? Wow.
Same
It really
one.
has grown. And it didn't take long, did it?
Nope. Nope.
No, it didn't.
Nope. The other day I was trying to film a video and he just disappeared. Quick. That was like lightning shot. Boop. To the back of the tank. I said, uh-oh, he got to get out of this tank already. Yeah, they really fast. But he's doing good.
So Hector, do you put the calc in via your ATO?
Yeah. Straight
Okay,
Wow.
that's another thing to look at. In the last couple of days, my ATO has been running so often, I have been looking for a leak somewhere in my tank, and I actually checked my salinity, and it's all fine. But maybe something's happening where you're not using as much top-up water.
That's exactly what I was thinking too, because I got two different ATO. I got the J-Bow ATO on the frac tank.
Yeah.
And that one is not as sensitive of the one on the Twin Cities. So lately, I've been replacing the water, putting more water on the Twin City than that one. That one is only once a week. This one is twice a week.
Oh.
And usually it was kind of about the same time that I had to put the water in. So maybe
I
the
wonder.
pump, but it's always in the same spot. So I don't know. It's not evaporating as fast as before. I don't know.
Well, with the weather change, there might be changes. Yeah.
Yeah, because if the air is more humid, if it's raining or whatever, maybe there's
this one
less
is open.
evaporation.
This stand is open. The the Twin Cities is closed, so
Yeah.
that's probably why it's the difference.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Oh, we have Insane Reefer in the waiting room.
Yeah,
Bring him in.
the winner.
Let's see. Should we let him in? Okay, let's let him in. Hey, Oscar, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Oscar.
Oscar's
We're
an OG.
It's for sure. We're trying to troubleshoot Hector's alkalinity thing that's going on here.
Acropores. That's what it is. Hey,
No, but the only
Yep.
acro here is that one.
it doesn't matter, man. I mean,
But it's
hey,
a big one.
hey, I'm gonna tell you what. I saw the comment today in Milev's Reef live stream, and I wanted to tell you, man, that's Acropora.
Yeah.
I got my 180. I only have 2 little Acroporas in that big tank, and I'm consuming 2 points a day.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chimp the Reefer said, hey, Chimp the Reefer, I don't think I said hi to you. He said, that happened to me. I didn't evaporate enough water a day for calc to keep up. Hey, it's totally
This
possible.
Could
probably,
be
yeah.
a combination of the
one
two.
other thing. Remember I told you, Cindy, last week that I showed you my Gen 5s?
Yep.
It's a totally big difference.
Hmm.
I am having growth like crazy in this
Is
past
that
week.
right?
Yeah.
Under the Gen 5s. Wow.
Under the Gen 5s. Reason is, and I noticed the difference because when I had my G2 Radeons on this tank, what I think is, since it wasn't communicating with the Reef Link, it was stuck in one intensity, in a different intensity. I thought
Oh.
I was raising the intensity, but in fact, it wasn't raising. It was just the same. So I wasn't having good growth. It was still growing a little bit, but not as much as my Monteporas are going crazy right now.
Nice.
You can see the white rim around it. Even in the middle, it's starting to encrust and kind of like starting to shows that white little rim.
Now, are the Gen 5s on your 180?
It's on my 29 gallon.
Oh, so it's on the small one. Oh,
Yeah.
so you can try it out and see what's what. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I sent those two in because I have sold those lights to my ex-brother-in-law. And then I gave them for $450, both of them. So they contacted me the other day, Ecotech did, and they said that the drivers were bad on them and they weren't going to be able to fix them.
Great. Oh, boy.
So I had already, spent the money on these.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave me a good deal though. They're going to give me two XR15s for $470.
Hmm.
So
Nice.
they gave me a 40% discount on them.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So I told my ex-brother-in-law, you know what? Give me whatever the difference is, and the $450 that you gave me, I'll put that towards your lights. So he'll get two new Gen 5s.
Wow. Well, that
Yeah.
worked out good.
Oh yeah, it did. And I don't lose anything because I already have. It's like basically I never sold my lights, so and I upgraded them to new ones. So
Yeah.
I don't lose any money.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Yeah. And one other thing, I got the carbon dosher I was telling you about. I bought that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish I could show you so you could see what it is. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Oh, we'll just wait till you get it all set up, and then we'll have a
Okay,
tour.
that works.
That'll be good.
And
Then
I
I
also,
can watch really carefully.
and also I got a PM1, which is impossible to get right now. So
Really?
I found it a local Reef member. He had one laying around brand new, he never used.
Wow.
So yeah, because you can't even find that online.
Okay, I'm
Nice.
sorry. I'm sorry. Look at this.
Oh, that's nice. Mine's actually changed color here in the 29. Like they are like that orange one in the bottom.
Yeah.
They changed to that color. So like everything is starting to color up. I had a season's greeting Montepora. They had turned brown on me, and it started to get its color back. So
Yeah,
I
this
know,
one
I
with
know
the
it's a
green.
lighting.
I never saw that green on this one. Look at it now.
Yeah.
That's
With
crazy.
With the HD16. Yeah. Also
Those are
this
new
one
lights.
here.
You running new lights on that one, Hector?
Yeah. Yeah. The Air Prime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is a
Hey,
new one
Luis.
there.
Luis Gigliotti is here. Yeah, people are talking in the chat, Hector, about your calc. Waleed Reef says if calc can't keep up with alk consumption, you can support it with manual dosing as necessary.
Yeah.
That's true, I use CChem reef carbonate as a supplemental dosing method in addition to the balling light and the calcwasser because I can adjust it up and down and it has no impact on my calcium like the calc does or the trace elements like the balling light does. So that's always an option for you too.
Yeah. I could tell the difference in the growth as well because I did my water testing today, which I haven't done in about maybe 2 weeks. And when I checked my magnesium, it was down to 1170.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's the Monteporas consuming all that magnesium. Yeah, they started to grow with the lights, and they start consuming all that magnesium.
God, Hector, you're turning into the Reef Jedi here.
Oh,
I
that's
wish.
beautiful.
I wish.
The color variation is just
It looks so
great.
full,
Yeah, so
and
varied
like
and so
every
full.
little nook and cranny has a Zoa in it.
Yeah. No, this one is by far the best one I have done so far.
Hey Hector,
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks real nice.
what intensity do you run that AI at?
Hopefully, mine will be that way one day.
Right now, wow, I don't know, to tell you the truth. I set it up. I think like exactly the blue ones. They intense right now. I'll tell you that. They are 100 and something, and I'm running whites too also, but the whites during the day.
So
Yeah,
if they
get
mine
more-
are running. Mine are running more white than blue. Well,
Yeah.
they still have the bluish tint, but it's not like a Windex look like they used to look. It's more. It has a little more white look to it, and you could appreciate the colors a little bit more for what they are.
With this one, with the 16 HD, I don't know what's wrong with this light. I couldn't set it up with the AI app together with the other two I have. So I gotta call the company and see, because every time I enter the serial number, I don't do nothing. So I just set it up and left it there. So this one always turn up before this one when it's not supposed to. So it's not connecting.
Hector, I'm going to have to talk to you about what your schedule is, because I have an AI Prime over Mollywood, and I really like how it looks. But I think there's a little too much white in it. And what you have here is just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I like the blue and
everything is in this tank. Like I say, it's just Dave's tank. That's why it's doing good.
Yep.
It's
the spirit of
Yep.
The spirit of Dave Nanotanks. That's awesome.
Oh,
I was thinking about him the other night. I remember listening to one of his live streams, and they were talking about vaping and the designs of the various vaping devices that there were available, and how one was really good and the other one was horrible and whatever. And I don't remember if it was Dave who actually said they wished that Apple would come up with a design for a vape device. And Dave said, yeah, they would call it the I Suck. And oh my God, I still laugh when I think of that. Oh, it was hilarious. It was one of the best. And of course, this always happens 5 hours in. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you, but
you're good.
That was funny.
Go high. I gotta hide the firefish, because every time I open the top, I shadow the top, they jump.
Oh, they're looking for a way out.
Yep.
Oh, those are jumpers right there. So what did you get new, Hector? Did you get any new fish or something?
No, just the Gorgonian.
Oh, the Gorgonian.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Black Widow Blastos. Hold on, let me put this backwards. I'm scared they're gonna jump. Not now on the live stream. So those Black Widow Blastos, this Aiken here.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Pretty.
Yeah, I call it the Green Goblin Aiken. That's what it looked like. What else? And this one, this little plate here, it's still getting used to the tank.
Oh,
nice.
Those have long sweepers, I think.
Is that a crab? It is
hermit,
too.
Yeah.
A hermit crab. I used to have a really, really big white-footed hermit crab, and it checked out at some point. But it was massive. Yep. That looks like a scully right there.
Yeah. No.
That is wrong.
That's a.
No.
What is
a lobo?
Something like that.
That's really pretty.
Thank you.
That's a nice
one. I like them. I like the mushroom too. Is that a Rhodactis?
Brother, you asking the wrong person.
It looks like it.
It looks like a Rhodactis. mushroom.
Does it have a skeleton underneath, Hector? Because it kind of
Yes.
looks like the. Okay. Yeah, it has a skeleton. It's a symphilia, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because Buster, my symphilia, has green in the middle, and he's got a red skirt all around.
Yeah, this one my boy gave it to me from. It was two of them, and they were kind of on the branch looking, kind of like the candy canes.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like how I got it, and the other one was a bigger one. But me with the Dremel, cutting it down, I killed the big one. It was way bigger than that one.
Wow.
Oh, we lost Hector. And now you got me. Oh, Hector, we lost you. Those are really nice.
Another issue.
Yeah, jump
Those
back in,
tanks
Hector.
Just
couldn't
blow me
handle the-
away. All the fire.
Oh yeah.
Man,
I can't wait to get mine up.
There he is again.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
there we go. Oh, no, it's
Okay.
okay.
But yeah, I killed the other one, so this is the one that I'm left with right now.
Yeah, they're slow growers, but once they get happy, they really do start to grow. Because mine has probably increased by, I want to say maybe 50% of its original size.
Yeah.
And I've had it for almost 2 years or just over 2 years now.
Look at the star. It started growing the leg already.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Finally. But yeah, so and over here, my LFS guy, he been too nice to me ever since I gave him a mask. So I don't know why, but he be giving me free corals now. So that's a good thing, I guess. So he gave me these.
Ooh, Dragon Soul.
Yeah, he gave me that one. That's, I don't know what is that. Kind of look like the Space Invader, I guess. Something like that.
Is it a mushroom or does it have a skeleton?
It has a skeleton.
That
It kind of
looks a
looks
lot-
like a
Like a what?
Space Invader.
Space Invader.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it looks like a pectinia
Yeah, that one.
to me.
Yep. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see. And then he gave me this one.
That looks like a Lobo.
It's a brain coral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some discussion from Gallery Aquatica, and they're both marine biologists, that the dragon soul favia is actually a type of Goniastria. So it's still in the same family, but just the really deep wells, like the pronounced walls between the eyes.
Yeah.
Whereas favia are more flat.
Oh, okay.
So that's really, really nice.
Yeah, I was in love with that piece. I asked him, "When are you gonna cut that one? I want to buy a piece." He said, "You want it? Okay." Oh, he cut it, put it on a frack, and gave it to me. So okay,
Wow.
thank you. And he gave me the Digi.
Nice. We got an interesting question here, Hector.
Yes.
Luis says, "Can you ask Hector what he doesn't like about the tank?" I think he might mean your Twin Cities, or I don't know.
What I don't like about my tank?
Yeah. Maybe you made a comment about something.
What I don't like about it? I don't know. I mean,
That
this
phosphate product dropping your alkalinity.
The what? The phosphate, right?
Or whatever you're dropping out.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah. But this one right now, because it's a mess. You know, it's not looking how I want it to look. That's the only thing I could say.
It's funny, when you do compare them, you can see a difference.
Yeah.
It just not just that there's more coral in the left city, but also the colors that's all planned, like the plan is different.
Yeah.
It's laid out differently.
Yeah, right now I'm just desperate for those acro just to fill that back wall. But I gotta wait. Gotta be patient.
Tempranito como la Cenicienta.
So yeah, that's the only thing right now. Ever since I put my other rock with Zoas in the sump, it's still down there. I haven't taken it
Yeah.
out of there. And it
Mm.
just, you know, it looked plain now. That's all. But I know with time it's gonna look nice.
Oh yeah, you'll
Gotta,
bring it around.
yeah, little by little. So I don't know. I was thinking to move the rock flowers out of here because they started to move everywhere since I increased the flow because of the acros. So now I got,
Oh,
yeah, now I got two over there. So I gotta do that.
Mm.
maybe you can get them all to go to the same place.
Yeah, I mean, first they were here and now it's two over there. So, and now I don't know how I'm gonna get that green one out of there. Cause that one is attached, I think, to the glass.
Oh,
Yeah, and I tried to take one out of the glass the other day. It was hard, like the red one. But now it's in the back. Even harder to get it out.
they really are all over the place now, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Ever since I increased the flow, they just started moving all around. So
Eventually, they'll find a place and stay there.
yeah, but I'm thinking to move them just to open more space and maybe I put something else there. Um, Trying to find a spot for the Ghanies. I had them there first. I'm still waiting on one more Ghani that I want on a giveaway, and still haven't received it. So,
Oh, really? How long ago?
oh, a month ago. So I reached
Wow.
out to the guy, right? So, because you got to pay for the shipping. So I
Yeah.
don't mind. I mean, it's free. It's a free coral. All I got to do is pay for the chip. And I think I won two. I think I won. It was like a pink mouth gunny. So it's green and with a pink mouth, and
Nice.
and I think a Walt Disney.
Oh,
Dang.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause
you
he was
Score.
he was
you'll
doing
want that
giveaway
one.
like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I messaged him, whatever. He said, "Yeah, I get back to you. I'm a little busy, but I'm gonna get back to you in a day or two." So I waited a week, and a week I wrote back, and the guy say, "Yeah, you just gotta give me some time. You know, the shop is busy. Blah 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 blah." Okay, no problem. A month passed by, so I reached out to him again, and he said, "Oh, I guess he's part of the owner of the shop." And the guy supposedly throw the paper where he wrote all the winners.
Oh my God. I'm on a Facebook group. Well, I'm not anymore. There's a Facebook group called Saltwater Scammers,
Yeah,
and you hear about this kind of thing all the time.
yeah. No, and I told him, I said, "You want me to refresh your memory? I remember what they were."
Yeah.
You know, so but never responded. So, you know, I'm just messaging just to bother him. You know, I don't care. I got enough corals. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
but just so he knows, do a giveaway. You got supposedly he take care of half of the list, right? And it was 15 giveaways that day, and I was in the top 5.
Hmm.
See,
So
today, I got in the live stream. I don't know if you were in there, Hector.
yeah, I
Uh,
wasn't.
and Reef Automation.
No, I didn't see that part. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? Let me get in, see if I could win something. He was
Hmm.
giving away $100 at bulk resupply gift card,
Yeah, yeah.
and somebody happened to give him $100 so that he could pick a second winner.
Yeah.
So the first
Nice.
one won, and then I was the second one.
Oh
So
wow,
I
nice.
was I was fortunate to get that.
Yeah,
I,
and the only reason why I wrote back to the guy, it was because he was doing another giveaway. So I said, "Hold on, you
Oh
doing
my.
another giveaway, but you haven't give away what you gave away the first time. So what the heck is going
So
on?"
what's the point? Is it to get customers
I
or like
guess
hoping
so.
people will buy
And
something else?
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know. And he got a nice shot, a lot of corals, a lot of fish. Um, I don't know. I don't know what's the deal. That's the only reason why I reached out because I saw that he posted another giveaway. I said, "Hold on, you doing another 5 winner giveaway? What's going on?"
It's
Well,
almost like they think people don't pay attention. Well, of course you pay attention because you're waiting to get what you're. And I have this thing where if you're going to offer me something, then follow through or explain why not. It's not like I'm asking for special treatment. It's like, you offered it. I said yes, I'm
Follow
going to
up.
get it. And like, why should I have to go out of my way? And
Exactly.
like, keep your word is essentially what I'm saying. If you say you're going to do it, then do it. That's the
And
biggest beef I have with people. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And I think they do it more for subscribers and stuff like that. So I really don't care. Like I said, I got enough, but I'm gonna keep bothering.
yeah, I'd be doing the same
Yeah.
thing.
I ain't
I
gonna
can be
stop.
pretty. I can be pretty mean though, so I have to watch myself.
And that's why I'm trying not to be mean. That's exactly what. Because I got the message. I took a screenshot of the message when he responded back. The date. What I didn't record was the giveaway. That's the part that I didn't record. So, but
Wow.
you can see him writing. He know I'm a winner. So
Yeah.
at least I got that proof. But I don't care. I really don't care. It is what it is.
But
Hey,
anyway,
Hex.
I'm gonna drop you guys. I got to work tomorrow, so
Ooh.
unfortunately, so I'm gonna drop you guys a little bit early. I appreciate
All right.
you guys letting me in again. So
Well, thanks for coming by, Oscar, and I look forward to
man.
seeing when that CARX is up and running.
all right. Oh,
Good.
thank you. See you, Hector.
All right,
Yeah.
bye.
See you,
Take it
Chase.
easy.
Yeah.
Later, man.
All
Yeah,
right.
Good night.
Good night.
Hector, somebody's asking what lights you're burning. Andy H. Hey, Andy H. What lights are you burning, Hector?
The AI primes on
And
the
that's
Twin
on the
Cities.
Twin Cities.
Yes, and on the fractal the Pixie 30s, Lumini or Lupni, Pixie 30s.
Cool.
Those little lights are doing good.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna put them back because if I set up the 40, the AI primes gotta go to the 40. I'm gonna need more light in
Yeah.
that one. So
Yeah, I just have the one prime on the Nuvo 40, and I think it could use. I should have got the 26.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking to get the 26 if I'm gonna do the 40 SPS. Because
Yeah.
that's the route I'm thinking to go.
Yeah. So Chase is showing us some stuff.
Nice.
Oh, the colors! Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my flow pump's kicked back on.
Well, that's okay.
What was
We
that
can see-
colony of zoas that you have there? The big colony.
Let me scoot over.
That one in the middle. No, not that one. The other one in the bottom. If it's zoas.
Oh, that whole rock.
Yeah. What are those?
Those are Twizzlers.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a little less orange without the filter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like the dark ones with the white centers too.
Wow. That's crazy.
You know,
That's
it
a lot.
almost looks.
Yeah.
It almost looks like the back of a person lying down with their arm hanging down.
Not smaller than any of these you see here.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the first Zoe I ever got.
Wow. That's crazy. And look at all those mushrooms.
Let me turn these pumps off.
How many heads do you think is in there?
The mushrooms?
No, on the zoas.
Oh, dude. I mean, there's got to be just hundreds and hundreds.
It's crazy, guys. At the beginning, we count them. Oh, we got one.
If I
That's
zoom
right.
If I zoom in, does it zoom in or does it not?
I don't think you could zoom in. Maybe,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not seeing a zoom in.
Okay.
Are you zooming in right now?
Yeah, I'm like tight on the mushroom rock.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of silvers.
Yeah, there's,
Nice.
I really like these ones over here. They're
The blue hornets.
the blue hornets.
Yeah, that's basically my favorite ones. The blue hornets, the jawbreaker hornets. I got those in the frac tank. They almost went away, but they came back. So that's a good thing, I guess. This one's here. Where are they? Right there. Focus. I don't want to focus. Oh,
Can you go to Hector, Cindy?
What's that?
Can you go over to Hector?
Sure.
Let me get the magnifying lens. Maybe that helps. Oops.
We're getting a psychedelic light show.
These here. A little bit of heraldry there. But those
Hey,
are...
it wouldn't be a frag tank if you didn't have any.
Yeah. The blue ones, they up here.
Yeah,
They're just
they are.
beautiful. They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
I have the red ones, but I gave them to Lemons, to Mike Lemons. So he's supposed to bring a frag back to me. That's I got only 3 hornets. That one, the Jawbreakers, the blue one, and the rainbows. The rainbows are over here. They cool too. Cool looking.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are nice.
Yeah.
Good night, Mr. DKH, and thanks for coming by. So Roman's Reef is asking how long the tanks have been running for. So I guess both of you.
Well, the Twin Cities.
You've had a lot of changes, Hector,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
kind of hard
and-
to pin it down.
Yep, and all this. Okay, if it's how long the rocks been living in the water, so over 8 years.
Wow.
They just been transferring from tank to tank, so they've been alive, over 8 years. But this setup right here, I would say like 6 months, maybe a little more.
Yeah, and
Nice.
are you upstairs with this setup now?
Yeah.
Or you?
Yeah.
Okay, because you had to move all of that.
Yeah, from the basement, yeah. And I haven't changed it, but I changed the sump. I finally put a skimmer on my sump. The reactor, the scrubber, the IY scrubber.
Mm-hmm.
So now I guess
Cool.
I'm a full reefer now.
Yep. Got all the gadgets.
Yeah.
But you're not.
This-
But you are the apex, though, right, Hector? Like you are the apex.
Yep, I am. This is the skimmer my boy Drama D gave me. So I know he's around. Thank you so much.
Yep.
He always
Cool.
take care of me. Yeah, always take care of me. I got a lot of things that he gave me here. He gave me these zoos here, polys, krakatoas. That one came from Drama D. The Blasto, the green one in there, came from him. What else in this tank came from Drama D? Let me see. Nope. And what else he gave me? There's just so many corals he gave me. What else?
Nice.
Yeah.
The oldest corals in my tank are about 8 years old,
Wow.
and this tank's been up for about 2 years.
Yeah, I just been doing basically all the changes that I've been doing to the tank is just fixing all the mistakes I made in the past. That's why I keep changing and changing. And now this one's about to change again. Once I set up the 40, all this in here going to the 40. So the only tank that always gonna stay the same is this one.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
touch that, man.
Yeah, I can't. Unless, of course, if I overgrow everything and I gotta frack some stuff out of here. But I'm probably gonna let it ride and let it grow into each other or whatever.
Yeah, you get those days when you walk in and you look at the tank and you know that right then, that day, that moment, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And a week later, you start to see, like you're talking about overgrowth. You're thinking, oh, geez, that coral's going to hit that coral. I got to cut it back. And it's ongoing.
Yeah, pretty soon the meteor shower is gonna touch the Setosa in the back.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna be nice. And then the yellow one, I don't know what it is, but if they meet, it's gonna be total chaos. And the Ghani's already touching the Monty, so I gotta remove that Ghani out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, my Ghani is really, really aggressive. It just stings the heck out of everything around it.
Yeah, it's burning that Monty right there. You kind of can see a little bit of burn in the edge.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my red Ghani has almost killed a chalice that's right underneath it.
Yeah. But I love Ghani's. It's just something with that pearl that I love a lot.
And that was your Mandarin.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the other one.
He's still going. He came back from the death. Okay, he was almost dead when I got him.
Wow.
And he's really really humble compared to like the ones I had before. Soon you get close to the tank, they just dart away. This one, you can get close. He don't. Oh, are you there? Okay. He don't care.
There's those firefish. Nice. What is going on here? Yeah, I've never had a firefish. I really like them.
Wow.
Yeah, I really like it. I think because I'm afraid of jumpers.
Yeah. Yeah, and it happens so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
And honestly, when we take down the Red Sea tank, I'm fully expecting to find potato chip fish behind it. So, you know, like we'll see. But I've my yellow clown goby, I had him for 7 years. He just disappeared about 6 months ago. So he could have passed away. You know, I mean, he was pretty old.
Yeah, that's a good run.
And Aurora gobies, I have a pair that I haven't seen both of them since early February.
Oh, wow.
And then I saw one at a time, like one, it would come out and I would feed it at night. I haven't seen that one for about 2 weeks. So, you know, they're so slender and so small. And there was one night when I was feeding them and I didn't have the feeding door back on. And that fish swam right up and came out of the water and fell back down in the water in the opening of the feeding door.
Oh, wow.
So they're really active. They go all over the place and they're a little bit crazy. And I have a pair, so I don't know what their habits are, whether they're like dragonettes, you know, they go up to the surface and down and together, but so I don't know if they perished under the rocks or if you know they managed to jump through the screen. I have no idea.
Yeah, I remember the one I had. That was sad. He jumped.
Yeah. Yep.
Really nice fish too.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting challenge with the big tank is I do really like small fish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting to see what I can actually keep that's small.
Yeah.
Because
you're going to have another nano tank up too, though, right?
I don't know. I'll probably at least have a frag tank.
Yeah.
So I want to keep Mollywood running as long as I can. And, you know, the mollies are gradually dying off, one here, one there, periodically.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm seriously considering just using it as a frag tank and keeping the mollies in there because the water quality is good. I mean, I'm growing Starburst montipora and Pocillopora and things like that. Not
Yeah.
not necessarily Acropora, but other SPS. So
Pora.
Pora, yeah. There's like poras in there.
It's porous.
Anyway.
Everything's gonna be okay, Cindy.
Oh God, I
Yeah.
hope so.
It will.
I'm a procrastinator only because I need to know what I'm doing so that I can plan for things that might go wrong. Is that a sexy shrimp in that rock flower?
Yeah. There's
Oh,
4 in here.
cool.
Wow.
I got 4.
So cool.
They all under the frog spawn.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess it doesn't have any problem getting stuck on that.
No.
No. Chase, have you heard of Fishy Snowman?
Yeah.
Fishy Snowman has a 5-gallon Pico tank that is all rock flower anemones and sexy shrimp.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Wow.
It is
beautiful
the
thing.
coolest thing ever. It is gorgeous. And I'm pretty sure he has maybe at least a couple of videos on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
And a
it's
Zoa
so
tank,
cool.
right? He also got a
Yeah.
just a one bit.
Yeah, I think he's got a vivarium too with a dart frog in it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But he hasn't been around a lot on YouTube lately that I've seen. But that little anemone tank, when you look at it, you swear it's like 24 by 24. But
yeah.
the thing is tiny.
Just
Beautiful
packed.
tank.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Nice.
Have you heard from Billy?
From
Billy Pipes?
yeah, a little while ago. He said he was taking a break. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm like a lot of people, I guess. You know, you're home
Yeah.
with little kids and changes the rhythm of life. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, this thing is being crazy. It's just insane. Nothing feels normal no more.
No, but I was saying to my husband tonight, I remember when it all started, and every night we were listening to the news to see, you know, what the numbers were, what's going to open, what's going to close. Then everything closed except certain things. And tonight, it was like, it almost felt normal to
Yep.
turn on the news and go, oh this, oh that. And I thought to myself, okay, it's going to be weird when this is over
Yeah.
not to have these constant reports of what the numbers are. And that's how it's kind of integrated itself into daily life. It's
Yeah.
what you expect now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching the news. I think in California, I think it was that they opened a beach, and the next day it was like 2,000 people back in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I just don't understand that thinking. Well,
Yeah.
we have neighbors who think it's fine for her sister and her entire family to come over, and they sit around their dining room table and they're having dinner and whatever, and that's all fine.
Yeah.
But you know, the neighbor, the guy, he still works because he's in an essential job. So he goes to work. You don't know who he comes in contact with at work.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
he comes home. There's the kids. There's his wife. Then her sister comes over. You don't know where she's been or where her husband or kid. So we're just staying away from everybody.
Yeah. You have to. My girl's grandma, she just went into the hospital.
Uh-oh.
She's 96.
Wow.
Yeah, they found her on the floor in the house, so now we're just waiting on news and see what's gonna happen because they probably gonna put the tubes and all that. So
Yeah.
they say is the virus, but I doubt it. She just old.
Yeah.
She just old because she don't do nothing. She's been home. She haven't been outside. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My
There's going to be a
grandfather
lot
recently
of.
had a stroke too, or I'm not saying that's what
Oh,
happened, but
yeah.
yeah.
yeah. There's going to be a
What gets
lot
me,
of.
man, is the now anything that you feel is the virus. No, you know.
Exactly. And after all this is over, there's going to be a lot of data analysis to figure out exactly where
Oh, it's going to be
things
insane.
fell.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, now
And
now
I'll
you
tell.
cough and people look at you funny.
I know.
No,
I was saying that.
that ain't right.
I was saying
Well,
that when I
That ain't
went to the
right.
grocery store. I'm afraid to. I have this cough left over from the palytoxin, right? And I'm so afraid to just cough in
Cough.
public because of it.
Yeah, yeah. People give you a look and you be like, why?
Yeah.
But
yeah, my fiance is Chinese, and people were giving her a hard time when she was by herself in the grocery store.
wow.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Wow,
that's
bad.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that ain't nice. That ain't nice. It's like my one of my clients that I cut his hair, his girlfriend is Chinese, and I guess she wanted him to come to the house for dinner, and the mother or something say, no, we don't want that coronavirus in here. But they
Yeah.
Oh,
say
jeez.
that to him. I said, what? Oh my god!
Yeah. Some people
It's
are
Well,
just
just
dumb.
you want to hear an interesting thing. They've analyzed in Canada the patterns of transmission and discovered that the percentage of cases that have arrived in Canada from China is like 1.8%,
Mm.
but from the U.S. is over 70%. So
wow.
over 70% of cases of coronavirus that they can trace back originated from somewhere in the U.S.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Yeah.
travel. Like who
yeah.
knows where they were from? But you don't know. It's we have it. We have to deal with it, and we can figure out later
Yeah.
what
I
happened.
get a
Only
lot
in
of
the
mixed feelings
context of
about
trying not to
it.
happen again. But
Yeah, it's really interesting seeing the dynamic, the change in the hospitals. So I work at a big university hospital, and I mean they're even planning for after everything.
Yeah.
It's changing all of our policies and stuff. So
Wow.
yeah,
it's interesting.
They getting ready now. Imagine. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yep, yeah. Things will never
We'll never
be
be
the
the same.
same.
Mm-mm.
It's yeah, it's hard to imagine.
I
And
know.
the interesting thing is we always figured that society would be impacted. Like we talk about it this periodically, my husband and I. We
Yeah.
figured it would be a banking crisis
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on electronic, like interruption of the internet,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that banking would be impacted. We thought, talk about take down a society. That's how it would happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who knew it would be but who knew it would be a virus?
For an
But it makes
invisible.
total sense. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It is crazy.
And we like to go on cruises. And I don't imagine we will ever go on a cruise again. Just because, it's scary.
What's
I remember
interesting? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the last cruise we went on, we came home feeling very lucky that we didn't get sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was in 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it's interesting how much more of a global impact something like a health concern can have than something like a natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
just insane how much magnitude of difference it is.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
impacted everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then went from one side, just took everything out.
Yep.
Since
Yeah, Johnny Martinez says, and this is so true, stress because of the virus can kill you also. Be careful, don't let it get you down. So true, that's great advice. And Chase V, thank you for your service. I love you, ReefGrrl. Love you too, Johnny.
Yeah, we've been. I do two nursing jobs. I have a flight nurse,
Wow.
and then I work in the hospital, in one of the ICUs, and had a lot of a lot of sick patients.
No.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? The most sad is that all those people gotta die alone.
That's
Yeah, the
worst,
isolation's
isn't it?
tough. Yeah.
Yes. They gotta
That's the
die alone. They
worst.
can't even grab a phone and at least if you're gonna pass away, put a phone in that person's ear so it could hear at least somebody saying something to that person. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing video chats. It's not even just the people that have been COVID positive. You know, they've limited. I mean,
Everybody, right?
in the adult units, they have no visitors. Period.
Yeah.
In the pediatrics, you can have one parent at a time. You know, no matter what's going on with the patient. So
That's for me just the more heartbreaking thing. You know that you're going sick and if you're gonna die, you're gonna die alone.
yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm pretty terrified to get old.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the situation here, we knew we had an issue with long-term health care in this
Yeah.
country. Well, in a couple of provinces, it's worse than others. Ontario is a bad one, and the government has slashed and burned all those healthcare budgets for the last 2 decades. And we knew it was a problem, but we did not know how bad a problem it was until this came along.
Yeah.
And it has really, really shone a light on the deficiencies in the system that were caused by governments cutting budgets. And I still say the for-profit system where these nursing homes are run as profit centers, like companies to make money,
Yeah.
I think that's at the root of it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm not an expert on any of it. I just know, what I can interpret from what I see and read, and I really hope it gets addressed after this settles down to the point where they can focus on something else, because it has really brought to light a lot of the problems.
All right. So I got a question. Have you guys used this type of caulk? I just got it the other day. This one. You
No?
guys used it before? No.
Calc plus 2, so calcium, magnesium, and strontium.
Yeah.
So
I
why do
honestly
they
haven't
call it
used calc.
calc? Like calc is made from calcium hydroxide. So, like,
I want to try.
What was that one?
This one's Brightwell. The one that I use the Seachem on Kaltwasser. That's the one I've been using ever since I started using Kaltwasser.
I just use ESV powder in a lifetime supply size jug.
Yeah.
2 teaspoons at a time.
Yeah. That's why what I mix a 5 gallon and I put 2 teaspoons and that keeps my salinity around 8.6, 8.5.
Yeah.
But I wanted to try something different, and I saw a video a long time ago about this one. So,
Oh, cool.
I generally like Brightwell stuff.
Nah.
I generally like Brightwell. I trust
It's
most of
good
their
quality.
products.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna do more research before I use it, and that was another problem. It was open when I received it. That's why it's all dusty. So I told I
How does
told
that happen?
I don't know. I made a joke to the guy. I said, "Listen, my guy, I used to be a drug dealer, and I know what his 450 grams look like. Okay, this
Okay,
is
were you
not
joking or were
450
you
grams.
really a drug dealer?
Nah. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But I
That's
thought
funny.
about it though. I thought about it. I said, "Listen, do not look like 450 grams.
Yeah, you stand there shaking the jar, going, "Come on, man."
Come on, come on. I know how much 450 grams look like." No, but yeah. So when I received it, it was wrapped with plastic and the powder all over the place. And when I opened it, you could see that little. I don't know if you could see it, but the marking where they open it.
Oh, you know what, Hector? How much you want to bet it was? Oh my God, is that what was left, or is that you've used some?
No, I haven't used it yet. I'm
And
still
it's half
waiting on.
gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
I'm still waiting on response from the seller.
Oh my God.
So
I
yeah,
was gonna say maybe the mail service thought it might be something
exactly.
unsavory and
That's what
opened it
I
up to
thought.
check it, but not to take a
But
third
not
of
to
the
take some out. Yeah,
contents.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Holy
Yeah.
smoke. I don't think they want to smoke that.
Nope. Or sniff it. Nope.
No, that stuff's
Hey,
bad. I mean, the first time I ever mixed calc was probably 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
yeah.
I had goggles, a mask, gloves, you name it, because
Mm-hmm.
the stuff is it's finer than talcum powder,
Yeah. You
and
get
there's
airborne
all
quick.
these warnings about don't breathe it in and the dust and all of this kind of thing. And I mean, careful with it. Stuff scares me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to. You have to be,
Yep. You
cautious.
can't,
So
you don't know what it is. You can't take the chance because you breathe that stuff in. It's caustic.
especially when
Wow.
you read and it say in case of contact with the skin, flush skin and or eye with fresh water for 15 minutes. Oh my God. You got to be there for 15 minutes. No. Drink 16 ounces of fruit juice and swallow. How you going to swallow this stuff? Come on.
Fruit juice.
Yeah. If
That's
anything,
hilarious.
drink fruit juice and swallow and seek immediate medical attention. I know who to call. Chase.
Wow.
That's
Good night,
crazy.
Waleed Reef. Thanks for coming by tonight, and you're welcome anytime.
Yep.
I I think it's great to have the questions and answers because, man, you wouldn't believe what I learned from all of this. Makes you think of things. Awesome. Well, Hector, I don't know what the mail chain is like in your area, but it sounds like, they've got some nefarious practices going on with your mail delivery and courier delivery.
Yeah. I mean, this one, it looked like, it's not 450 grams. So for me, it came like that and it came late too. They rescheduled the drop up day. So
Wow.
we'll see.
Yep.
I'm just waiting.
Well,
They say it take about 2 weeks to answer back. So we'll see.
huh.
I took
Yeah.
pictures when I opened the package, so I should have made a video because they say you can make a video too, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the mood to make a video. It wouldn't be nice. After I waited so long, I
Yeah.
waited like a month for it.
Yeah. Did you see my Instagram post about my box of boxes that UPS dropped off? Oh, did I say UPS out loud? That
No.
Brown Courier Company dropped off, Brown and Gold. Yeah, I didn't keep the sound in the video because it was too much even for Insta. Too many F-bombs. I was so mad at them.
Yeah. What
Anyway.
they did.
I ordered boxes from Home Depot
Yeah.
and homedepot.ca. I ordered 15 of each of two different sizes, and the pricing is bulk. So X
Okay.
dollars for 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, it was April 6th when I ordered them. They finally showed up at my house on April 23rd.
Okay.
They were shipped from somewhere in Ohio, so they had to cross the border. This is HomeDepot.ca, right? Yet they were
Yeah.
shipped from Ohio to Canada. They were held locally, according to the tracking, for 4 days before I got them. And when the box arrived, it wasn't like most of it was torn open. So
Wow.
there's two problems. The boxes weren't bundled inside, and
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of shipping and mailing
Yeah.
in my careers and my experience.
Yeah.
And you can't leave space in a box if you're going to ship, because that space just becomes a way for whatever it is to rattle around and get wrecked.
And good. Yeah.
So, you've got to wrap it tightly or fill that void with something that's going to keep the contents where you put them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this box was twice as deep as it should have been. So the contents were probably moving around back and forth, because they're heavy. I mean, a bundle of
Yeah.
large cardboard boxes is heavy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the shipper didn't pack it properly to begin with.
Wow.
And the tracking system for this particular courier company is horrible. It's never correct. The number of times they've said that it's out for delivery and it's supposed to be there by the end of the day, like
Yeah.
3 days in a row.
Wow.
In fact, I have a screen right now that shows May 6th, to be delivered May 6th by end of day. I still don't have it.
That's what
And
happened to this one.
it still says May 6th by end of day, and yet when you look at the delivery progress, it's in transit May 8th.
Wow.
But I'm supposed, so it's so frustrating. I mean, if you're going
Yeah.
to use it right. And I get it, everybody's blaming COVID and the volume of parcels because everybody's ordering stuff. I get it. I don't mind waiting. But you know what? You have these tracking systems. Why can't you use them properly?
Properly, yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty. Anyway,
Yeah, like all of a sudden
that's
it's
just me having a
chaos.
rant.
It's
But
chaos
I hear you about the video because I was not very
Yeah.
polite.
Yeah.
It was unladylike language.
I imagine.
Hey, remember, I went to forestry school. I've heard it all.
Like right now, I'm waiting on a light bar. It's been what, 2 months already through Amazon.
You're kidding.
Oh,
What
dang.
kind?
They say they arrive the 11th, so we'll see. I
Wow.
received what is it? The Toby, the box, the little black box. This box. Let me show you because I just don't know the name of this thing, man. I get frustrated because I don't know the names. And once you guys know what it is, quick, this thing. It's just a box, the connection one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I received this one already. So now I'm waiting for 2 more package, and they were all ordered the same day. So they were supposed to all arrive the same day. So this one came yesterday.
Power
Now
supply.
I'm waiting. Yeah, now I'm waiting for the one to increase in the light intensity. So I'm waiting for that. It's a DIY project that I'm doing. So I'm waiting on that and the light bar. We'll see. But it's been 2 months already through Amazon.
Wow.
Same thing with the coat. Came through Amazon. And look how it came.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Blame it on COVID-19, like you say. Blame it on the virus. It's insane. It's insane.
Johnny Martinez says, I bet the letter carriers are reefers. He just took a couple grams to test on his aquarium. Come on. I mean, I bet if he would have asked you, you would have given it to him, right?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah,
just use it. Let me know
exactly.
how it works. I will say, use it. Let me know how it works. And I get another bottle. If it don't work, crash your tank, then, I'll save mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to I have to admit I don't really keep up with all the new products. And it's
Yeah.
partly because when I find something that works, I tend to stick with it just because
Mm-hmm.
I don't I'm not a tinkerer in the sense of change for change's sake. But if I
Yeah.
have a particular problem I want to solve, then yes, I do
Mm-hmm.
the research and I figure it all out. And that's usually how I learn about new things if I'm trying to solve a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
this one I ordered this one because I saw it long time ago. It's not new. It came out I saw it from New Year's Stilo video. I think it was.
oh, you're kidding. Wow, that is
So
a
that's how
while.
long I seen it. Yeah.
That's old school.
So I wasn't even making videos when I saw this product.
Huh.
So that's why this is the one that I wanted to try first, but my LFA had that Seeking one, so I said, you know what, let me get that one. And I
Yeah.
start with this one before I buy something more expensive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a little bit more expensive.
And Brightwell has a good reputation, and
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything that they really do that's not researched and well
yeah,
designed, and
yeah. Slowly, I've been changing some of my product to Brightwell. I got that one. I got the aminos, the
Mhm.
Fido.
I still take it slow with their stuff too, though. Like recommended dosing, you know.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. I think that's why I always go half doses of anything new that
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
using,
yeah. I
just to
always start slow too. I don't go hard body quick because you never know. It's gotta be easy, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
It's especially with a reef tank, any changes, they
Hmm.
just could switch everything in one day, boom, or in hours. Everything just could be gone.
Yeah, and plus the whole thing about dosing the same thing via 4 different products
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because the ingredients aren't clear enough.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how it goes. My test tank is the frac tank before I do it on this one. So
Yeah, cool.
the frac tank is a frac tank of steel. I mean, you change it to that tank. Oh my, keep forgiving me. So I just
Yeah,
added that rock in there and I just throw it in there. All right, let's see. uh, no algae
cool.
yet, so it's getting brown already. So hopefully I won't see that crazy algae people be getting in the reef now.
Yeah,
That's crazy. There's a lot of people getting the same bubbly, stringy algae. They'll
yeah.
use it,
It's
but you look
weird.
at it, they'll using the same products or they mimicking what other people do. So
Yeah.
Without really understanding fully.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Oh, hey, STL Reefer. Better late than never. How's everybody? Good. I was just thinking I
Yeah.
should probably wrap it up. It's almost midnight.
Yeah, I gotta jump off myself.
some more
Yeah, I have a.
midnight. So happy Mother's Day.
Aw, thank
Yeah.
you. I've been told my breakfast is going to be made for me, and I'm probably going
Score.
to be FaceTiming with my daughter tomorrow
Nice.
because although the other tank is at her house, we are not really interacting.
Yeah.
There's a separate entrance to that area of their house because it used to be a doctor's office, and it's working out great as far as having the tank set up.
Yeah.
We it's not that we don't talk because we do, but we don't really spend time in close proximity to each other.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
it's too risky. Like the little guy, he's only 4 months old, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah. You just gotta be careful. Yeah.
yep, I can wait. I'm,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm a reefer. I can wait, right?
We are
That
a
should be a
patient
T-shirt.
breed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So again,
all
happy
right.
Mother's Day to you, and if it's any
Thank
lady
you.
watching, happy Mother's Day to you too.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy Mother's Day to all the girls in the chat who are mothers. And
Definitely.
although I wish it was a
Bless.
day where I could just sit with my feet up, but unfortunately I still have boxes to fill and
Yeah.
things to organize before we can talk to real estate agents to get our house listed. And the other tank just has to get where it needs to get, and then I'm going to take...
I saw the short video. I see it.
Yep.
Nice.
It's going to be 4 or 5 days in a row where I take big pieces and move them over, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll have to teach my daughter how to test for alkalinity.
There you go.
Hey, that's a
You
good
know.
one to start with.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, plus I'm going to take the rocks out that are in there, put them in a tote with salt water, a power head, and a heater, and I'm going to cook them. I'm going to just keep them alive
Yeah.
because they're just placeholders for now. And so there's all of that I have to plan out too. Oh, we'll see. A lot could go wrong, but a lot could go right.
Exactly. One thing at a time.
It's gonna be up and down at first, but then you're gonna come through.
Like you did it to fill the tank, one frag at a time. Now it's all colony at a time to the tank. So everything's gonna be okay.
I hope so. I don't want to kill stuff. That's
I know it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But you'll be okay. You ReefGrrl.
Yeah. Well, hey, right, exactly.
Hey.
I gotta the legend. I'm a legend in my own mind, right?
Don't forget that. Don't forget that. You ReefGrrl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right,
okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
It's been a nice night. We'll see you next week.
Definitely.
And who knows, I might have more to report next week. You never know.
Nice.
All right. And good night, everyone in the chat.
Good night.
See, thanks, Chase, for coming here, and Hector. I appreciate
welcome.
the discussion. It's always good. See
Yeah,
you guys.
that's great.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Good night.
Later.
Good night. Later.
Yep. Well, now, thanks so much to everyone who came along tonight, in the studio, in the chat, and watching. And to those of you who are watching the replay, thank you too for sticking around to the end. I hope you'll join me for next week's live stream, Saturday, May the 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Stay safe, everybody.